And now's the time when things are shifting. There's gonna be a new world order out there. And we gotta lead it.
True internet suffered depression.
Who are fake news?
I am not suicidal.
We'll circle back with you directly. I can circle back. I'll circle back with you.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Hello, and welcome to episode 290 of the Jeffrey and Brian Show. I'm Jeffrey.
And I'm Brian.
We're just two guys drinking some beer, talking what's going on. We got Guapo with us again. He managed to make opening sequence another time, and the repeat offender, who I don't know if he's ever been on at the beginning before.
No, I don't think so.
Nah.
All right,
You
It's
well,
that this time zone difference, you know?
yeah, well, it's tomorrow morning over there, right?
In the future.
It's in the future, boys, and it's looking good for you.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the lotto numbers.
I told you, mate. There's a 25% recovery fee for the repeat offender for that.
I'm fine with that. Shit,
Per
you know
annum.
what's
Per annum.
if I knew you were going to be here this week, I would have. I came across some Australian news, and I would have shared it, but I completely forgot what it was about. Oh well. Anyway, hey, remember that Democrat up in Massachusetts on the city council who stole the money from the Boston taxpayers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's been sentenced. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, she's looking at a year in prison and a $13,000 fine. Well, she's going to be resigning from her office on the 4th of July, which I laughed at. I was like, you've already been convicted, but she doesn't have to. She can't be forced out of the job until her sentence starts. So that's Boston for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goodness. A lot of updates. Oh, go ahead.
No, I forgot. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
That's all right. A lot of updates coming out lately concerning the Carmelo Anthony case. If you remember, he's the young black man who stabbed the young white man through the heart at a track event in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but they asked for $500,000 in help for legal aid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they went out and bought $1 million house.
Mm.
And now, check this out. Now they're going to go with a court-appointed attorney, and they're asking for another $1.4 million for legal fees.
I bet they don't get it.
If not, if you're going to go with the public defender, why do you need all this money? And you're buying just like BLM. And no, I'm not saying because these guys are, not saying because he's black, this family's black, but because, the founders of BLM did the same thing with all their donations, bought themselves houses.
It's funny because this family, the Black Kid family, they kind of well off. I heard they got like money, like
That's what they told us. But everyone's like, "Wow, you guys are looking to do this court case, and you went and bought $1 million house."
Yeah, like I don't know if like when people get extra money, just amplify like this, like the bad habits or something like that. Or what?
Well, here's the thing: even if you have bad habits, wouldn't you be more worried about your now?
I know
that prison forever.
I know, but I just thought about it. Like, hold on, the family is like kind of they're not doing bad.
They're upper middle.
They're cool, man. Yeah, but the cool man is all this money and like you kids are like, about to go to prison and at least trying to get him like some like light sentence, like if he was guilty, which we don't know, still innocent, proven guilty,
Yeah, video came out. This dude just straight up reached into his bag and stabbed the kid. Sheesh. Anyway. Rep MacGyver. She is the one that fought the ICE agents, remember?
Yep.
Yeah. She didn't really fight the dude. She pushed one guy and then friggin' overhanded fist punched another guy.
The Jersey chick.
Yeah. Well, she's looking at 17 years for this. And check this out. She said that this is a woke attack from Trump. And it proves that she's been the target the whole time. It's like, you're a nobody who works for a state government, not even federal. And you went and tried to pick a fight with a federal agent on video. You blew it,
Yeah. Fuck it. She deserves what she gets.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
I mean, you
if
know
I,
what? Probably they would have been lenient here, like, hey, look, I got carried away. My apologies, like I do 1 or 2 years or whatever. They
she might have
probably
just got a
go,
fine.
yeah, probably a fine or 1 or 2 years, whatever. But now you're gonna be all fucking almighty and shit, and now they got evidence against you. Then I go like, fuck it, slam the hammer on her.
That's what we call a court tax. You
Yeah,
could have pled guilty and said, I
you stay,
screwed up,
yeah, state
but
court,
now,
fucking time and resource and shit.
yeah, exactly. Now you're taking money from the taxpayers to have a whole trial to go through all this garbage,
Hmm.
and fuck it, you're gonna serve more time now.
It's just a
Mm-hmm.
bit of remorsefulness, guys. It's just common. You show a bit of remorsefulness, they get a bit lenient on you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you just said, yeah, I screwed up, I got caught up in the heat of the moment, I wasn't thinking, it could have easily been a fine,
Yeah.
especially since she didn't like continuously strike anybody, but it's still striking a federal officer.
That's jail
Yeah.
time here in Australia.
That's what?
Jail time.
Jail time.
Prison
Yeah,
time.
well, she's looking at 17 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Australia, it's prison time here.
Okay, we mentioned that Trump was nominated for the Peace Prize because of
Yeah.
Iran and Israel. We didn't mention that he was also nominated by Pakistan for ending the war with India.
What?
That ended pretty
But
quick.
now India, yeah, so that's two different nominations he's gotten. But now it looks like Pakistan's changing their mind on this nomination.
Oh my
So
god. Whatever.
whatever, it was still put in, so we'll see what happens. We
Yeah.
all know that Trump's not going to get a peace prize for actually bringing peace. He's not blowing up American children overseas, right?
Right. That's what he's not the right political party to get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Exactly.
Gotta be a Dem.
So I noticed the gas prices have hit summer prices, so that means we've switched over to the summer fuel.
Hard for me to believe about that. Dude.
It's a real thing, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like
Hey.
when you guys mentioned it last time we were talking about it. Like, what? No way. Is it?
You're like, bullshit. You looked up, you're like, what the fuck?
I forgot. I don't know if I looked it up or not. How drunk I was. I don't know.
Yeah, well, gas went from $2.99 to $3.29 over here, and I was furious.
Starting to go
because it
back
happened.
down now.
True, but even with the gas prices hitting, they're at the lowest they've been in 4 years, and that's even with what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz going on right now.
Yeah, it's just only 5% of a fucking fuel system. Fuel.
When I keep hearing how the economy's gone to shit, and everyone's telling me all this stuff, I'm like, where are you guys living that you see this?
Yep.
You know?
Oh,
Like,
it's
like,
when
look
just because you got fired for a government job doesn't mean the economy is bad. We just cut into taxes. That's all.
Yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, look at the price of a dozen eggs. I have been buying eggs. I know what
I
eggs cost.
just bought a dozen for like $3.
I don't buy
Yeah, yeah.
eggs.
Yeah, well,
Excuse
I'm gonna have
me.
my
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some chickens again here pretty soon, so I'm excited about that because even at $3 a dozen, why pay that?
Hmm.
And once they stop laying, you get to eat the chicken too. Which I got a feeling Brian's not going to be cleaning and cooking chicken that he had in his house. That he probably named.
I didn't name any chickens.
You
That's
name
my
your
wife.
Chicken
She did,
1,
so that-
chicken 2, chicken 3.
Yeah, never name anything you're gonna eat. Okay.
I know that.
Feathers,
The
no
domesticated.
feathers. Why? It's like the
Tastes like
Sasquatch.
chicken. It tastes like
Brian's
chicken.
gonna be like the Sasquatch video, like, hey, this is feathers. He's gonna go over here with some fire pit with me. Hey, you guys want some chicken wings?
Yeah.
So you can also make a pillow out of chicken as well, too, mate.
All right. Oh, see, I didn't know if that noise was coming from my house or Guapo's house. It looks like it was Guapo's house. All right, not
Yep.
me. So Kamala Harris cannot seem to find donors to run for governor over there in California.
What?
Nobody wants her
I wonder
in
why.
elected office.
Oh, she's a. Do
She
you
was
think she's
how
going to
to-
run for president?
She had to
No.
qualify.
She can't even get people to pay for her running for the state of California. She ain't gonna find enough people to pay for her nationally.
Now, do you think it's because she's a unqualified or that she's not left wing enough?
No, she's
Un-
overqualified, and she don't know how to manage money.
True. Did you
I
see
think it's
Bernie?
just because people think she's an idiot.
No,
She is
that
a fool. You guys see Bernie Sanders on Joe Rogan?
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. Just a
When
bit.
yeah,
Well,
Bernie's like saying something like how Elon Musk put like $275 million into the Trump campaign, and Trump spent like $500 million running for president. Without missing a step, Joe Rogan's like, Kamala Harris spent 1.5 billion. That's 3 times as much.
yeah.
Yeah, from one donor, wasn't
In 3 months, she spent
it?
$1.5 billion. Yeah,
Dude, I don't
and
think I
Trump
can
had
look.
years.
Oh my god, I don't know how you can spend that much money, dude. It's
She
still in
still
debt.
has 20 million or something, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She did have 20 million in debt. I don't know if she still owes it or not. It probably got paid. Well, it wouldn't be her anyway. It would be her campaign.
Oh.
All right. Well, check out this story. I believe it was in Texas. A boat capsized on a lake, right?
Mm-hmm.
And well, first they were having issues with the engine, whatever, and then the waters got choppy, and the boat capsized, and 10 adults swam to their own safety, leaving a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old to drown.
Oh, no.
Nobody's
Now,
wearing life jackets either, I bet.
probably not. And I don't know what the laws are in Texas, but do you remember when those kids watched that dude drown in the river or whatever, and they got put in jail for not doing anything?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you could have at least called for help, but instead they recorded this guy drowning and dying. I'm hoping that Texas has something to do about this because that's absolutely unacceptable. But I don't know all the details. For all I know, they tried and couldn't get the kids out. I don't know. Well, anyway, here in West Virginia, we have new laws concerning squatters' rights. As it is, you have to have been in a residence for 10 years before you get squatters' rights, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had to, if you were the homeowner, you had to do like this process of like serving eviction notices and all that kind of stuff, and the whole rigmarole to get them out. Now you can simply call the police and say, I have trespassers, and the police will come and haul them off and arrest them for trespassing. So I'm pretty stoked about that. However, here we also that flood that we had, the flash flooding. There were 7 missing, 7 dead, 3 missing, then 8 missing, 8 dead, 2 missing. Now all 9 are dead. Maybe my math, maybe I forgot how many were missing. I think maybe there's one still missing. I'm not sure, but there's 9 dead, which is unfortunate. The last one they found was a 73-year-old woman, and that must have been a crazy flash flood if it took them 2 weeks to find somebody. You know what I mean? They got hauled off a long way.
Mm.
Ryan, what you got going on over there in Virginia?
We got meteors falling from the sky.
Yeah, I tried to watch that Doppler, the satellite video.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at, and those
Well,
are so
apparently
fast.
another person said they had damage to their house from it. So
Oh damn!
I wonder if
Well, I mean,
that'll be covered under homeowners insurance or not.
hope you have active God insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's definitely an act of God when something falls out of orbit and lands on your house.
Yeah.
And what is going on with your elections? You guys have all sorts of firsts coming up in Virginia concerning your governorship and lieutenant governorship, right?
Yes. Uh-huh. We've got the first female governor is going to be elected in November, whether it's a Democrat or Republican. We both have females running.
Is there
And
a third party candidate?
oh, I'm sure.
All
And
right.
then we got some interesting matches up for lieutenant governor because we vote for lieutenant governor here in the state too.
And the Democrat nominee is for lieutenant governor is a Muslim Indian American. Oh, geez, Guapo, we're coming back from your speakers into your microphone there. And the male of the Republican lieutenant governor is a gay man. That's going to be a first on either side for Virginia too, right?
Probably, yeah. I would think so.
We should have an interesting campaign season going on then, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So are you going to be voting for governor?
Yes. I vote for all elections. I earned that right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to vote every time I can, but I make sure I actually know what the hell was going on. You know what I mean? I refuse to just pick a party.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'll vote for comptroller if I look at their policies.
I like voting for dog catcher.
Yeah, that's a lot of states do have that as a an elected position instead of an appointed. Speaking of, well, this is mayorship in New York. That Zoran Mamdani was beating Cuomo so bad in the primary that Cuomo dropped out, and
Well, no, the
Mamdani just
primary happened. Como
yeah.
called the concede early on because apparently this guy had a ton of early votes before the actual primary day even.
Yes. And remember, this Mamdani dude is a socialist.
Yes,
Uh,
endorsed. But he's in the same district as AOC
yeah, yeah, and she gave him her endorsement, but
and
her
Bernie
constituents hate
Sanders.
her. Yeah, and Bernie, of course. This guy's a boob.
Oh yeah,
What he
he
wants
could
free? Oh,
if he becomes mayor, it'll probably be the worst mayor that New York City's ever had, and he'll probably end up in a recall election if any of half the policies he's talking about get put in place. It's gonna the businesses are gonna leave, the rich people are gonna leave,
there go all
and
your jobs.
the jobs go away, and and the grocery stores are going away because he wants to bring in government stores so that everybody can afford the food prices and stuff.
Well, that's exactly. He's like, oh, we'll do it at cost and remove the profit incentive. It's like, how much money do you think these bodegas are bringing in? Like, you think they're buying yachts?
No,
They're
the
like,
profit margin on a major grocery store is so little, it only almost doesn't exist.
yeah.
Dude,
Well,
this
and
fucking
remember,
bigger store owners better start a campaign against him, dude. I'm
well,
telling
there's
you.
one CEO billionaire of a chain grocery store in New York who said, if this guy wins, I'm closing all my shops and rolling out.
And
Yeah,
he's gonna move the headquarters to New Jersey.
Yeah.
yeah. All the real, even the realtors are like, are not selling right now because nobody's buying.
Well, yeah, he wants to freeze rent prices and like rent control from a state level. And these guys are like, well, it costs me $2,500 a year to maintain this property. You won't let me charge $3,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
No,
so it's going to end up being a net loss between water, electricity, and then the jackass who's going to can't pay his bills and strips the place of copper and the remodeling costs.
look. If you live in New York right now, just stay there. Fucking fix your shit. Don't come over.
Yeah.
Virginia's full. We don't
And if
want
you do,
nobody here.
and if you do run away, don't bring your bullshit politics with you that fucked your own city up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no shit.
Well, apparently some big name Democratic donors not too happy about him being primary.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi, Hochul refused to endorse this guy.
Yeah.
Uh, well, here's the thing, though: is New York. Well, this was the primary. They don't do a ranked choice in the election, but Cuomo is going to run third party, I guess.
Yeah, he's gonna be. So is Eric Adams. They're both running independent.
And the
And
Republican.
and Wells is running third party too.
Who's
And
left?
they have a Republican, Curtis Silva's running the Republican. He's the
Oh,
So
guardian
these guys
angel
are
guy.
Yeah.
these guys
He's
are
the
all going to split the vote, and
yeah,
Mamdani's
he's,
going to get the election.
probably.
he's the big beret guy, isn't he?
What's that?
The guy's running Republican. He's a red beret guy. The Guardian.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, we
He's
talked
one of
about
the
him on the
guardians.
last show.
Yeah, he's one of the guardians thing guys.
And Wells, remember, it was the guy who got busted, I think, by Trump for some kind of embezzlement or something.
God damn, really?
Yeah.
Is a
The thing is,
Democrat?
Wells, no, well, he's on the right side of independent,
Oh, okay.
but
Well, he's
they're gonna.
also one of his policies is he's going to tax the whiter neighborhoods in New York City.
The water neighborhood.
He actually said that. Yes.
Yes.
Oh shit.
How is that possibly legal?
It can It won't. It's not. That's going to end up at the Supreme Court, and that's not legal in any way.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
back to
50
the
Cent is offering Madani $285,000 to get lost.
and drop out of the race altogether. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I
Well,
wanna go back
apparently
to the Okay.
Sorry, just saying. Apparently, they're looking to do before he got his citizenship. They're trying to come up saying that he was praising Hamas
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that
And he
nullified.
lied on his paperwork to get citizenship.
Yeah, that'll nullify him straight away, won't it?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. These guys call them socialists because it's illegal to be a communist in the United States.
Yeah, but he's basically a communist.
Yes, and not a lot of people realize this, but there was a Communist Control Act in 1954, making it. There's no place for communism here at all. We've made it against the law. Nobody likes a commie, but we have people saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm a socialist." I'm like, well, that's the same thing as communism. Like, no, it's not. Like, yeah, it is really. If you've actually read the Socialist Manifesto written by Lenin, it specifically says the end goal of socialism is communism. It's like a stepping stone to get there. And again, on the groceries thing, all right, so you make these places and you run them at cost. So there's like, quote, no profit, right? That means by definition, it has to be a net loss because you have to have employees, right?
Yeah.
And then he wants minimum wage to be $30 an hour. So, I mean, you're going to pay how many people to work in these places and pay them $30 an hour? How much money is it going to cost the government to run these bread lines essentially? Because all of the businesses that are getting by, the small bodega that mom and pop own is going to get crushed by the company that isn't trying to survive because they don't have to, and don't have to pay rent or income tax or any of these other things that everyone else has to pay. So they're going to close down and leave, which is going to put everyone in line at the communist bread store.
The commune.
And then the shelves will be empty.
Well, hey, yeah, I mean, sometimes people gotta learn the hard way, you know.
That's the thing, though, is this guy's not going to be able to pass 90% of what he's trying to do
Yeah,
because the city council is just not going to let it happen. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah, I know about some.
And he's going to blame everyone else as to why everything fell apart in the city instead of saying, "Yeah, you're right. This shit's stupid." You know, and you got a bunch of young millennials and 20 somethings that think
Oh,
this sounds
dude,
like a
there's a
great
lot of
idea.
boomers. There's a lot of boomers in there too, man. Oh,
Which is nuts because the boomers are the wealthy people.
Yeah, they just feel sympathy and stuff.
Yeah, but they're gonna tax the shit out of these people. They're gonna tax the shit out of the boomers.
They don't care. They're fucking survivor guilt.
They will when their property tax triples to pay for the
Florida, you know that. You know how that's gonna happen.
exactly. They will pack up and leave,
Mm-hmm.
and they're probably gonna bring their stupid politics with them wherever they go. God. Yeah, and now, oh my god, this dude said he was going to arrest Netanyahu if he comes to New York, and I'm like, for what?
Good question.
New York has the authority to try people on international war crimes because I'm assuming that's what he means, right?
Yeah.
I don't think New York has that kind of jurisdiction.
Nah, they're just selling points to fucking people to vote for him.
And that's the thing is he's making all these ridiculous promises that he cannot keep. Like you cannot make the transit system free because then you're just gonna have hobos who live on the transit system shooting up heroin or whatever they're doing. Because hey, it's warm on the bus that drives 24 hours a day, and I don't have to worry about winter now.
Exactly.
Oh my god, it's frustrating as hell, man. Seeing how people have no idea how any of this stuff works. And
this is not how any of it works.
yeah, that's not how this works. This isn't how any of it works.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. So Stelter came out trying to do damage control for CNN. When Trump was like, "No, you guys got this damage report wrong." On the refineries over in Iran. Castelto was like, how many times have these guys intentionally leaked us bad stuff just so we look stupid when the truth comes out? And well, here's the fun part. Iran, Israel, and the U.S. all agree that these nuclear sites were quote badly damaged,
Yeah, finally.
and new reports have come out. Not even new reports, the actual intelligence reports have come out versus some no-name low-lying guy leaking it out, saying that it's completely destroyed. But there was a satellite picture that made it look like there might be bulldozers and excavators trying to dig out these bomb sites.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
No, all I can think is you're gonna get a bomb dropped on your forehead.
What about all the
It's-
radiation around those sites?
Radiation. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that Trump's gonna be like, all right, time to put some warheads on foreheads and drop a bomb right on the excavation equipment, you know?
Yeah.
All right. The Ayatollah came out of his cave.
He had to.
Yeah, he's claimed victory over the over Israel and saying that he slapped the United States in the face.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you were hiding in a bunker the whole time, terrified to get blown up.
So a lot of people are telling Elon Musk to turn on Starlink for Iranian citizens, so they can have unfettered access to the internet and see what's really going on with the world.
That would be cool.
That's not a terrible idea. I hadn't heard that. You know what? He should do this in North Korea too.
When you guys come out of a bunker after what Trump's just done too, I wouldn't hide in a bunker anymore.
It's not as safe as you thought it was, apparently, right?
Yeah.
But that's a good idea. They should go ahead and you should. Well, I say that. I'm sure it doesn't cost nothing to run this equipment. You know what I
Nah.
mean?
Yeah, you got to be a socialist for that, you know.
Well, I'm just not even that. Like it, it takes energy and all sorts of resources to make Starlink system work.
Yeah.
You know, and don't get me wrong. Elon's got a couple bucks in his savings account. I'm sure of it.
Well, he used it in Iraq forever, so.
You want to hear a fun fact
Ukraine.
about Elon Musk? You are closer to be a millionaire than Elon Musk is to be a millionaire.
Yeah, I know that's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like damn.
Actually, no. Let me put it this way. No, that's fucking awesome, man. I'm closer to being a millionaire than Elon Musk is.
Yeah.
But again, just want to point out that doesn't mean he has $400 billion or whatever it is
Nah,
sitting in a bank account.
Nah.
Like he owns companies that'll work for money.
Yeah, that's not a good idea because it's just a stagnation. Your money sitting there.
Yeah. I keep enough money in a bank account for an emergency.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like co-pays on insurance, or I need to make an emergency flight out somewhere because someone is sick or dying, or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Besides that, I put everything into assets, whether it be stocks. I don't care for bonds. Not sure how the bond market works, and I don't care to put the effort into it.
Mhm.
But I am a big fan of stacking metal. I know you are too, Guapo.
Right now, I'm bankrupt, dude. So I can't even talk about it yet. But
Bankrupt
you know what?
or poor.
No bankruptcy. I fucking got divorced, dude. Chapter
Well,
11.
bankrupt means yeah. So you actually filed.
Yeah, I actually filed some restructure. So
All right. Well, hey, that's what it's there for, is so you can get back on your feet, and not always be in debt, right?
yeah. I mean, just everything. I mean, I'm still gonna own everything I own, but just gonna pay it off, you know. So it's not chapter 13. So chapter 11, 13, or 7. One of those chapters.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different bankruptcies. There's a couple of them you get to keep your home and keep paying that debt instead of getting kicked out.
Yeah, they're just gonna pay it off, and after I finish paying it off, everything's gonna go back to normal. Like, okay, which I don't care because I really don't care about my credit. You know, unless I'm buying a house.
Don't worry. I was bankrupt a few years ago, mate. The stigma around it anymore is just all died in the ass.
Mhm.
People are going under left, right, and centre these days.
Well, it's funny. I considered filing bankruptcy when I was in Virginia because I was looking at everything. I was like, the numbers don't work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And which is the most fun of this was I had more money going out than coming in, but I still couldn't get any government assistance to cut down on my food costs.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Fuck me," right?
Yeah.
I went the other way. Instead of bankruptcy, I said, "Sorry, guys, I just ignored everyone I owed money to for 7 years, and it disappeared off my record."
Yeah.
And I started over.
The other thing, like for money wise, probably what Bill Gates doing, fucking buying farms, dude. Unless you never have to worry about money coming in. People always
Yeah,
gonna be hungry.
people always need to eat. You're right.
Mm.
That's why I like metal, especially silver. Like, don't get me wrong, gold is good, but gold is expensive, right?
Yeah. You know
But
what?
silver is very affordable, and it's not just as a resource, money resource, like a
Mhm.
holder of wealth. It's used in solar panels. It's used in all sorts of technologies. So it's needed as a resource, not just as a holder of wealth.
Yeah.
Which makes me think it's going to skyrocket as soon as we start advancing our technology a little bit further.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I think El Salvador and Argentina need to come out with standardized silver coins. I mean, they could put their own stamp, but the weight and measurement had to be the same. So, like, no, it would be interchangeable.
Yeah, that's not. Well, how many times on this show have I said that I think some of these states should make their
So,
own currency out of silver?
yeah, make
Uh,
it standardized. So, like, when you transfer, you take your coins to another state, like, oh, okay, it's the same. This is the price for it, but it may be a slightly different, but at least
you can still sell it as silver versus its value. That's the thing is if the price of silver goes way up and your
hmm
coin's only worth, $5, you'd be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna sell it as silver instead.
hmm
That it would help keep inflation out of that state. And you could even have other states that agree that are like neighboring you and do the same thing and they'd be interchangeable. Like Pennsylvania could accept West Virginia's
yeah,
state currency. And this is constitutional, by the way. It is in the Constitution before the amendments, like in the actual original paperwork. Anyway,
uh-huh.
back onto the point here. The lawmakers in Iran were shouting death to America and death to Israel after they voted to stop the international, uh, I don't know, IAEA. It's the nuclear inspectors,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
the
Well, is
international
there
nuclear
anything?
inspectors.
Is there anything for the international nuclear inspectors to inspect?
Like to see if these places still exist is one, and anything they do still have that's up and refining and purifying. Oh, repeat offender's gone.
Yeah. Oh, he
See
got caught.
how
Yeah.
much it's refined. But yeah, they told these guys that they voted to not let him in anymore, and they're voting death, the chanting death to America, death to Israel. And then check this out: some fucking CNN host has her head so there he's coming back. Who's got her head so far up her ass that she's saying that it's friendliness that's causing these Iranians to chant death to America.
And wondering why nobody watches CNN.
Yeah, just boomers, and not just that, like elderly boomers approaching the greatest generation. Again, that's why every commercial you see on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News is all freaking dick pills and heart pills and that kind of stuff. It's all old people issues.
Right.
But you got to give a lot of credit to Trump, mate. He's the one who's turned all this around with mainstream media.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is he was talking trash about some of these. Oh, he was talking trash about Tucker Carlson. He's like, well, if you were on TV, maybe I'd listen to you more. It's like, Donald Trump, we're calling you the podcast president. You know that the mainstream news media on cable doesn't mean shit anymore.
100%, mate. He's the one. He's the driving force behind it.
I don't think he's the driving force. I think he capitalized on realizing what was happening.
Yeah.
That most Americans these days are getting their news from stuff like this. And not that we're quote journalists, but we're reading actual news articles as we talk about this stuff.
Bullshit.
Yeah, well, we find out like no, this contradicts this. What do we think's real, and then we discuss it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You're talking about you're not being talked to. You're not being talked down to. That's what mainstream media does these days. They talk down to people and instill fear.
Oh yeah, during COVID, they're like, don't do your own independent research. Don't trust your own judgment.
Yeah.
And I remember one person said something. New York Times is the one that said, "Don't critically think."
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's like,
Don't do your research. Back in the day, called reading.
yeah. Sheesh. All right. So, do you think this Ukraine U.S. minerals deal is over with?
No, I mean we had to. We had to get paid for what the fuck we spent over there.
Yeah, but Russia just captured the biggest lithium deposit in Ukraine.
They did what?
Russia captured the largest lithium deposit in Ukraine. So how is Ukraine gonna give us a discount on lithium if Russia has it?
Oh well, we'll see who can extract it faster and better, cleaner.
Well, the Ukraine's probably gonna have trouble because it's probably being protected by armed soldiers.
Hmm.
And if we're depending on this deal to continue doing business with the Ukraine concerning this war, um, what are they going to sell us? I mean, granted, they have other lithium deposits, but this is the largest one in the country.
Yeah.
Should listen to Trump a few months ago, mate. Let
Yeah,
the
they should
Americans
have.
set up shop there. Let the Americans set up shop. The Russians aren't going to come through.
Exactly. Let us just mine for it. The Russians will stay the fuck away because they don't want to kill Americans because they know what that'll mean. But no,
Trump went,
Zelensky has to pound his chest like he's got the biggest fucking dick on the planet, you know?
It's a cocaine stock in the.
It's all cocaine.
Yeah, it's like the guy from fucking the Wolf.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. That's our rookie numbers. You got to get bigger numbers.
I did see though that Putin is ready to negotiate at least a ceasefire, possibly peace at this point.
Yeah.
But every time he says that, Ukraine goes and like blows up something in Moscow, which isn't going to help their cause either. You know,
Mm.
I don't know, man. I don't know if we're going to see an end to this conflict without Ukraine being wiped out or the United States heavily supporting Ukraine because Europe keeps like, oh yeah, we don't need the United States to do this. This
They're
would be
not
easy.
doing
Well,
it.
then why don't you fucking do it, right? Oh, that's what I want to say about Australia. Australia sent soldiers to Ukraine.
yeah, it was Europe. They put out Europe. It was basically what it was just like not a peacekeeping force because the word force wasn't used. They were supposed to be there, so like training under the guise of training.
Uh, that's some murky water there because you're gonna get a couple Australian soldiers killed,
Yep.
and something's gonna happen. And now NATO is gonna be expected to jump into this conflict because because this happened. I think this is a terrible idea. If you want to train these Ukrainian people to become soldiers, bring them to Australia, then send them back.
Yeah. Oh, the people in Australia, we're out for it. It's not our war.
Yeah,
We've gone in too many wars following others
yeah,
in, mate.
does the Outback really want to get drug into a war with Russia right now?
Oh, mate, they could hit us so many nukes, they wouldn't find us in the outback. You just wouldn't be able to survive in the outback.
Yeah, and I got a feeling most Australians probably wouldn't handle a Siberian winter very well either.
Nah. Oh, we have.
Yeah.
We got Tasmanians, mate. So gets cold down there, down near the Antarctica.
Yeah, but you don't go hang out there. Well, actually, you know what though? That's a good place to go train and get ready for the cold, I suppose.
Yeah,
I mean, the Americans go up to Alaska for cold weather training.
Yeah.
And they'll go to the oh my God. What's the giant desert in Nevada and California? I keep wanting to say Sahara. Huh? I keep wanting to say Sahara, but is it Mojave? We use the Mojave Desert for like desert training. It's
Yeah.
I mean, the United States is so enormous and diverse in weather that we can basically train for any kind of weather. And don't get me wrong, Australia is freaking huge too, but it looks bigger on a map than it actually is because it's closer to the pole. So
no, it's big,
like,
mate. It's big.
oh no, don't get me wrong, it's a big hunk of land. It really is, but they make it look bigger on a map because it's when you unroll a globe, you have to adjust for latitude, longitude, and it looks bigger. And like you said, you have to go to Tasmania for Arctic temperatures.
Oh, we get them. Like mainly in Australia, we had we get snow and cold weather down south,
Mm,
down in Victoria, around there. South Australia's pretty warm.
yeah. And I think you're right, though. I got a feeling that Russia has no interest in trying to have a land war in Australia.
Well,
Because
it's a long way for him to go to fight a war.
it's a long way to go to deal with a whole bunch of wildlife that wants to kill you.
Yeah.
That's mate. Watch it, that great top end, mate. Yeah, there's not much
I've
life
seen enough
after that.
videos of these dudes having to fist fight kangaroos to save their dogs. I'm like, that thing is enormous. Tell you what would happen here in West Virginia if a kangaroo that big had my dog. I'm not going over there to punch that thing in the face and get punched or kicked. I'm shooting that motherfucker.
Oh, you'll get punched and kicked, mate. Rip you apart. They've got massive claws, mate.
I know. And what, they lean back on that tail and boot you and then rip your guts out when they do it, right?
Yep.
Like the way a cat does when they grab their prey and roll over and claw at them.
You probably
Disembowel.
bleed out within 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, I mean, when your intestines are wrapped around your feet, you tend to not live very long, you know?
It's not like a Lego set. You put it back together pretty quick.
Yeah, you grab it trying to put them back in, like, oh no.
Where does this go?
Oh, I meant to put this Israel thing up right after the Iranian conflict with Israel, but I blew that.
Hey,
I
talk
think
about
I've
bombing.
had, yeah, I think I've had about enough of Israel in general. It seems like they're just fighting everybody. They just attacked Lebanon.
Dude, you know how like last weekend we close to World War III, but now we're not talking about it no more. It's like, what's going on this week?
It's because Trump ends every fucking war, and I loved hearing all these folks be like, "Oh, I thought Trump was the no new wars president. Oh, you guys really fucking
He's
blew
doing
it."
this to keep us out of the wars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, geez, could you imagine if he actually negotiates peace between Ukraine and Russia after handling Israel, Iran,
Yeah.
and Pakistan and India?
Oh, mate, that Pakistan India was the one that was really freaking me out.
The
'Cause on the
nuclear nations
Pakistani
fighting.
side- No, people don't realise India and China got this little Cold War going.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
China
I remember the slapping.
I was gonna say the stick fighting they do at the border.
Yeah, the border and the mountains, they're fucking fighting each other with fucking
It's
sticks.
it's
We
hilarious though.
talked about this on the show.
Yeah. But yeah, they're stick fighting and punching each other because they're not allowed to have weapons because they know it'll escalate into full on combat immediately.
And see, China's pumping shit into bloody Pakistan. Don't you worry about that. That was a big fuse to put out, that one.
Yeah, well, China, we never mentioned this. China flew 3 giant Boeing aircraft into Iran right before, like 5 days before we bombed Iran, and we have no idea if they were bringing supplies into Iran or if they were smuggling people out.
Yeah.
Like, we have no idea what happened. For all we know, they were bringing the detonators or fuses for nuclear warheads or something, you know?
So people don't realize how ballsy of an effort that was by Donald Trump or President Trump that bombed. Like, you've got so many.
A lot of presidents have talked about doing it, but even Obama wasn't going to do it.
That's right. They didn't have the balls, mate.
Well, wasn't it under Obama, though, when we released that worm into every computer on the planet that only affected Iranian nuclear
Yes, I think so.
centrifuges?
And there's also under Obama where we sent a pallet of cash to Iran.
Yep.
Oh, here's the problem with that, dude.
Wasn't
Billions, but here's the thing about that. Iran's like, we don't want American dollars, we want euros. So we've turned around and sent just as much money in euro to these guys. It's like, no, if we're going to send you cash, we're going to send you American dollars, and you can spend the American dollars and keep the American dollar strong.
Yeah,
but no,
exactly.
We're just going to
No, we're
again.
not going to do that. Yeah.
Oh God. And again, I don't understand why everyone loved Obama so much.
I don't either.
Oh, dude, no, it started falling off. Everybody started like, oh, there's a lot of fucking people that realize what the fuck Obama did and shit like that. Then now,
well, they're saying he was scandal free, except for he wore a brown suit once. Like that's just not true.
Yeah, he had a bunch of scandal with they were like the way they're referring like sexual scandal. Like, okay, shit, if you were married to Michelle, you fucking keep your shit together. She fucking beat your ass.
Well, He keeps
You
it
wouldn't come
tight.
home
He
late on
packed
a
up his
Friday
butt
night, would
anyway.
you?
Mm.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't come home late on a Friday night to Michelle, would you?
Mm.
Big Mike.
Fucking, it's like it would be like fucking Arnold versus Predator and shit.
I reckon she can out arm wrestle him.
Fucking pick me up and shit.
Now I want to watch Predator again, man. That was such
Dude, I can
such a good
dude,
movie.
I think my boy is 7 now, so I don't know. I was thinking about it watching
Cool.
that with my boy, my son.
Yeah. I'm saying who was the shit? He was a professional wrestler, and then he became a governor. That was
Jesse
in
Ventura.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Jesse Ventura.
no
Jesse Ventura. Yeah.
Jesse
Yeah.
Ventura. Schwarzenegger was never a professional wrestler.
No, he was
Yeah.
Olympic, Mr. Olympic. And
Yeah.
then you
Right
got
with that.
Carl's Apollo Creed.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, really?
Apollo, wasn't it?
Yeah, dude.
Man, I gotta watch
Fucking-
Predator again. That was such a good movie.
Fucking- dude, that's, like I've had so many comments about it, like history. You're like, oh my god, such a great movie, dude. And it has so much-
I watched Alien versus Predator when it came out, and I was like, it's all right. I just don't think they should have brought the two together.
Mm.
Neat
concept, but you have to sell it good, I don't
Yeah.
mind it. It was okay. It was
No, it wasn't terrible, that's for sure.
yeah. Dude, but you were talking about China and Indian fighting. I'm surprised nobody fucking knew kung fu and fucking, all the fucking Indian that know all these fucking martial arts. How come they're not learning mixed martial arts,
I'm sure they're learning some kind of martial art. I mean, the IDF trains all their soldiers in Krav Maga.
No, but I talk about India and China.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just saying that I'm sure they're learning some
Dude,
kind of
if-
hand-to-hand combat skill.
If I'm not gonna go fight Chinese or Indians, dude, I'll be fucking MMA learning that shit, dude. Because
Hey,
it's
hey,
the
just-
most efficient fighting style.
Mate,
Well,
thanks
no,
today.
my long-range rifle is way more effective.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like you're not allowed to bring the weapons and stuff. You're just fucking fighting.
Thanks to Dana White gets a hold of this podcast, mate. We might see a new
I
sport
wish
come up.
you listen to our podcast. I'm telling people at the VFW to listen to the show
Oh
now.
my
I'm actually like showing them how to find the Jeffrey and Brian show. So
And they're
Way to do it,
listening
brother.
too.
yeah, some of them are. Some of them think it's hilarious. I warn them right up front. We get drunk, we talk politics. It's
Yeah.
Dude,
like,
honestly, I don't remember last week.
one of the people's husband got offended with our Elon Musk title.
Yeah,
I'm like-
Elon is bad.
I'm like, it's clickbait. If you actually listen to the show, you realize we never said that in the
And it's-
podcast per se.
And it's sarcastic because that's what
Yeah.
we were hearing everywhere.
Yeah.
I've actually got a prediction,
Yeah.
guys. I've got a prediction and a theory.
Oh, here we go.
I reckon Jeffrey's holding out until Budweiser's popular again before he drinks on the show. So I still have to give you that sponsorship. I think he's holding out.
He's
If
drinking Miller Lite.
Yeah,
He's
here's the
holding
thing though.
out.
is I don't care. I've always had Miller Lite on the show though. I've never been a big Bud Light fan in general.
I'm drinking Coors Light because there's a $8 rebate on it. So every
I'll tell you
case
what.
of Coors Light I get $8 back. So,
You
I'll
get
tell
but
you
if
what.
but it's like a double rebate on Budweiser. So if you bought a case of Budweiser,
Yeah,
you
it's all but
basically
free,
get it
right?
almost for free. Yeah.
Yeah, and they still can't get rid of it.
No.
That's Brian's new nickname, Mr. Special. He always get the special beer.
Fuck you.
We used to do a
Mr.
beer of the
Special.
week,
I know, but
but do you know how hard it is to get novelty beers in the mountains of West Virginia?
sound like
You're gonna have to sign up for one of the beer delivery services,
Like
The
the
Yeah.
monthly
Fosters
subscription plans.
Yeah.
Like trying to get Fosters in
They do.
Australia, mate.
Yeah.
They do the food
Realistic-
candy.
I don't know where to get a Foster's outside of an Outback Steakhouse.
I don't think it exists outside of Outback Steakhouse. I think they've cornered the market. on
It's their
it.
house brew.
Yeah. I
I'll
mean,
make it do with you. You
I
drink
don't-
the Bud
do they serve it on tap or is it in the oil can there?
in the oil can, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they got the oil can. They probably have it on tap.
Dude,
I'll do
that
a deal
would-
with you, mate.
I think it's in the oil can and they just bring it in a glass.
I don't think I've never seen an Outback Steakhouse. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Oh, really? That's good eating, dude.
I've never seen one. I don't know where there's one because
There's one. Well, there used to be one in Hampton, but they turned it into a Verizon store. Or no, they
Yeah.
turned it into a Chase Bank, and then there's one in Newport News.
All right.
Now, were they the Awesome Blossom or the Bloomin' Onion?
Yes, Bloomin' Onion.
Bloomin'. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, do they have those down in Australia?
Yeah, mate, we've got different stores like they're under different names. Like when Burger King come to Australia, they had to change the name to Hungry Jack's.
100 Jacks.
Why?
Hungry.
Jacks.
100 Jacks. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just there was something in their marketing or something like that, so we couldn't call it Burger King.
What?
Yeah.
It'd be called Hungry Jack's. Some guy bought out the rights in Australia.
Oh, he got it
okay.
before. Oh, yeah.
And then he never
made
opened a
money on
Burger
it.
King.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, but he was trying to sell it back to Burger King.
And Burger King's like,
It's
fuck
like
this.
when all those people that like buy domain names up and they park them, and then they offer them to you for thousands of dollars to have it.
Now, here's the thing: is I would love to do a web page for our show, and we could post all of our stuff there. But it's not free to open up a web page, believe it or not.
No, but you can. The first year is like, a
Yeah, but
couple bucks.
we need a storage capacity too.
Well, it's funny because a couple of years ago, during Pride Month, you could get a deal for $1 a year with like a 10-year contract to open up a web page. If it was instead of .com or .net, .gov or whatever, if it was
Right.
.gay,
Oh, you should have done it.
I almost did.
The
and I
Jeffrey
would've
and
called it-
Brian Show .gay.
No, it would have been the Jeffrey and Brian Show is .gay. Almost did it.
We are inclusive.
Speaking of finances of the show, if anyone has made it this far down the show, feel free to kick us a couple bucks to even just storage fees. But it'd be great to have our own webpage and instead of saying, "Hey, go find us on any platform." You say, "Hey, go to our webpage."
Yep. I will include the PayPal information, and if that doesn't work for you, hit us up on Facebook Messenger, and we'll tell you how to get us some cash.
Don't we have a Gmail too?
Yes, we do.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
we need to work on that Gmail.
But yeah, if you dig the show for real, share the show with everyone you know. All right, that boomer far left father of yours, have him sit down and listen to the show with you, so he can be like, "What's the matter with these idiots?" I'll tell you what's the
Exactly.
matter with us idiots.
We're broke.
We're broke baby vets. Okay.
And we're doing this for beer.
We're doing this to keep sane.
Yeah.
I'm not actually broke, but I don't have liquid cash. I'm just
I'm
like
broke.
Ryan. Like you got a fucking house. You got all sorts of. You have a boat, dude. All this stuff is
Yeah,
worth money.
okay.
You have assets.
Yeah, that's
But you're
My
not gonna
boat,
sell
my
it.
boat is barely floating, so
Dude, that's
I
the
told you,
perfect
Jeffrey,
nickname, Mr. Special.
I told you, Jeffrey, I know a way for you to make $50 Australian the hard way, mate.
Well, here's the thing: is Brian's gonna start selling pot out of his backyard to fund
no,
the
I'm
show.
not. I'm smoking
Eggs and
it.
pots. What kind of chickens you want?
Yeah, I can neither confirm nor deny if I'm growing any because it's not legal in West Virginia to grow.
It's not legal to sell it in Virginia. It's only legal to grow it. I'm growing it for personal
Now,
consumption.
Do you have a max how many plants you're allowed to grow?
4 per household.
Yeah, okay. Because I know in Mass you're allowed to grow. You could have 2 per adult living in the house, up to 6 plants.
In Michigan, it's like 4 per adult per house. So
I mean, realistically, it only takes a couple months to grow a plant to maturity.
no, I'm screwing up then.
Well, no, you had photo period plants in your house not getting the sunlight to trigger it to flower. Dude, there's tons of information out there to show you and teach you how to do all this stuff, right?
No.
Not even that. Go to YouTube and watch a video of a guy. He'll spend 10 minutes and explain the whole process of growing the photo period marijuana.
All right.
And you're like, oh, all right, that's all I got to do? Because, yeah, man, you should have had flowers by now.
Okay.
All right. Anyway. So, Mark Rutte, he is the chief of the United Nations. I'm sorry, the NATO chief, not United Nations.
Yeah.
Called Trump daddy.
Somebody get quiet.
You got a video, you said.
I thought I did. I couldn't find it in there. Let me have another quick look.
Oh,
But yeah,
fine.
after Trump dropped the F-bomb concerning Israel and Iran, they were talking about, the war ending. And this dude said,
I got it.
sometime. Oh, there you go.
Let me
Make
get
sure
through
you
the
share it.
commercial. I got to get through the commercial. It's a
All right.
30-second
Yeah, he said-
ad for sleeping in a
don't-
bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like sometimes daddy has to use harsh language. And then one of these reporters was asking Trump about it after the fact, and was it Rubio behind him
Yeah.
laughing
Yeah,
his ass
Ruby
up?
was
He's like,
just laughing.
yeah. So Mark Rutte called you daddy. Do you see the rest of NATO as your children? He's like, no, but I think he likes me. He calls me daddy.
All right, let's do this.
Wait, I laughed my ass off when I heard this stuff. Hey, you said you got it?
Yeah,
Don't forget to share because it's still sharing on me.
I'm working on it.
All right. But yeah, I laughed real good, dude. It was hilarious. Here we go.
News.
Yeah, look at
Mark
Rubio.
Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No?
He
did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that, but do you hope that actually they're going to be able to defend themselves, defend Europe on their own without...
I think they need help a little bit at the beginning, and I think they'll be able to, and I think they're going to remember this day. And this is a big day for NATO. This was a very big day. They took it. One of the gentlemen said, you know what? We've been trying to raise the rate for 30 years, he said.
This is a huge accomplishment.
From almost the beginning. And he's been there for a long time. He said, until you came along, it never happened. What you did is amazing. It's been sort of an amazing day.
Nobody else was pushing it except for Trump.
Do you think they can do it without you, though, in the future? Can they do it without the
ask
United
Mark.
States?
I mean, you have to ask Mark.
And you're right. And not only was Trump the only one who pushed it, but he said, we're going to pack up and roll out because we're not going to be the entire defense force for all of freaking NATO.
Right.
If you guys don't want
Which
to
we
put any
have
money in
been for
this.
ever since NATO was created, that's been us,
And
these people, these countries in Europe, because we were protecting them, they were able to make it all social spending, and they're all socialist countries now.
Yes, exactly. Because they weren't running their defense. And we keep saying, like, whoa, look at this country. They have free health care.
Yeah.
It's like, that's because they're not paying for their own national defense.
They've got a UBI.
Where? Who's got a UBI?
I don't know, but I'm just saying they could have.
Oh, you guys familiar with Nick Freitas?
Yeah.
No, he's a congressman
for Virginia. He's a delegate for Virginia.
Delegate, okay. Have you seen any of his YouTube stuff?
Oh yeah, I do. He got funny stuff, and he's hilarious.
Oh. Hold on, I don't even know what this is. The wife just sent it to me.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna play the audio from me.
You got to take sharing back.
I just did.
You're quick.
Hopefully you guys. Yeah, well, I know how to do it.
I'm out of practice because I don't do it anymore.
Here's hoping you can hear this. I have issues sometimes with my audio coming through. Oh, of course, it takes forever to load. Oh, geez. And now, what's up with these
your commercial.
No, it's not even a commercial. It's these things they start automatically muted. And that drives me nuts. It's like, I didn't click on the motherfucker to not hear what he had to say, right?
Exactly, huh?
Well, it looks like it has something to do with Hollywood. Let's find out.
Do a sequel to this iconic movie from my childhood.
Princess Bride.
How do I put this? Hello, my name is Nicholas Freitas. If you kill this movie, prepare to die.
Prepare to die.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then he took a sip out of a "Don't Tread on Me" mug.
Yeah.
I love watching his short little reels and his full-length podcast. The guy he should be libertarian. I don't know if he is. He might be Republican.
A Republican. He's over here in the middle of Virginia, delegate, and he He's the one that took down one of the Democrat delegates and in the House about his Second Amendment and stuff like that.
Yeah. Speaking of, he mentioned the Princess Bride was the whole point of that thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched Orange the New Black.
Oh,
And,
did you?
Yeah. Well, the redhead that was in American Pie, during the course of the show, yeah, with the crazy hair, she was a junkie on Orange the New Black. Over the course of the show, I noticed at least 3 Princess Bride references.
Oh.
And I thought it was hilarious. Like, she performed a prison marriage, and she goes, marriage! And I was like, I'm the Princess Bride! And another time when they're getting a riot, she goes, have fun storming the castle! There was just a whole bunch of references, like, oh, that was such a good movie. You guys familiar with the movie? Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Check this out. I got to pick movie of the week for the first time we did it on the Vela Gulf on deployment, which wasn't until we were like month 3 or 4 into deployment. But I picked The Princess Bride. I was like, well, great movie.
Yep.
Half the crew didn't show up because, like, I don't want to watch some rom-com chick flick. I'm like, you have no idea
Right.
what you were skipping out on. Like, it's a Mel Brooks production, for cripe's sakes,
Yeah. Not very rom-com-y.
No, the main character was the guy who played Robin Hood in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, okay, so what do these G7 guys do? Back on
G7?
topic here. Yeah, the G7 nations.
Yeah, the top 7 nations and stuff.
They talk about the economy.
Yeah, they just talk about shit.
Well, after Trump left, the rest of the guys managed to get nothing done on all the stuff that they were going to agree to.
Yeah, that doesn't
Well,
surprise me.
Daddy left.
Well, we have better trade with almost every nation on the planet now because of Trump's threat of giant tariffs.
Yeah. Oh, we want the reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah, so you guys charge us this much. We're going to put at least that much on.
Mm-hmm.
China fought us. They're like, all right, we're going to double it then. Fine, fuck you guys. We don't need to buy Chinese goods. I'm like,
yeah,
we better stop making microchips then, right? Speaking of, though, with all these wars coming to an end, China's not going to have the opportunity to swoop in and just seize Taiwan.
Why?
Well, I thought they were going to wait. I thought they were waiting for the United States to get involved somewhere, and we'd be too busy to go over there and do anything about it.
Oh, okay.
Now,
I mean,
yeah. With this bombing, dude, just show everybody like, look, Iran apparently they had those fucking what is it? No satellites, but fucking to scan the sky for planes and shit.
Radar.
The radar. Thank you. They couldn't even fucking scan the fucking B-2 bomber. So now Russia's like, oh shit, I don't know if we want to mess with fucking America right now.
Yeah, when the B-2s came in and dropped those bunker busters, they didn't fire a single shot to try to stop anything because they didn't see it coming. They didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, and the radars couldn't catch it. So, those are Russian radars too.
It wasn't just that. He flew them out of America. He flew them from the United States. Have a think about
it. 36-hour flight. How many crews are on board the B-1 bomber to do that?
Probably like
because they're only allowed to fly like 8 hours at a time. So how much
you can sleep it, 4
Yeah,
pilots.
but I mean you gotta alternate. I mean it's totally automated flying
co-pilot.
for the most part, but
co-pilot, autopilot, you just sit there, take a nap.
Well, yeah, but you don't take a nap flying a stealth bomber across the fucking half the planet because if something goes wrong, you want to be awake to handle it,
Yeah.
No, but that's why you got your co-pilots awake,
Yeah, exactly. You got 2 guys.
I
probably
bet there's more than
the
one crew on there though.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, you got one guy. I bet you there's a guy in the back who opens the bomb bay doors, and it's not a button push in the cockpit. But I don't know how the B-2 set up. It is a very secret weapon.
Let's see, Google or something.
Does anyone else in the world?
I've got a
have
picture.
B2s?
I've actually seen a B-2 bomber
Inside.
live and in person, and I've actually taken a picture of one flying over the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. I have it hanging up in my office right now.
Wow, I would love a copy of that picture, dude. If you still have the negative, or does the Navy have the negative?
Yeah, it's kind of tight, dude. It's kind of tight to see.
Well, I mean, I could always scan the photo in.
True.
But have a think of the enormity of this mission. The guy Tyler said, like, if you any attacks from around the area, so he said, "Fuck yes, we're coming from America." He's gone all the way there, sent them all the way over there, right? 36-hour flight, like you said, pinpoint fucking accuracy.
Dude, did you? Okay, they made it sound like we just dropped 6 bombs like in succession and it just blew up. No, they fucking Star Wars style, a whole the size of a womp rat, dropped it through a fucking air vent.
Yeah.
Like
3 times.
Top
3
Gun.
times.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Oh my God. That's insane. Like, I know how advanced Western weaponry is, especially the United States, because we're the only ones that have these bunker busters, the MOPs. We won't let anyone else in the world touch them. It's like, no, fuck you. If the world ends, we have them. Sorry, guys. We love you, but we're not giving you our end of the world weapon.
Hell no.
But I didn't realize we could drop a 3,000-pound bomb through a 30,000-pound bomb.
You didn't know
through
they
an
were
air vent.
that precision. You thought it was like a bomb they just dropped. It's not like a cruise missile type thing.
And it would hit within like 5 feet of what they were trying to hit. You know?
Yeah,
Holy
I totally
crap.
agree.
Tomahawks going in.
Oh, the Tomahawks are nuts, man. We can put them in through a car window and detonate it inside of a. No, yeah. Is it the Tomahawk or is it the Hellfire? That we can actually like fly through the window of like an apartment building and detonate the Ginsu bomb, which is a bunch of blades inside the room and kill no one outside the room. It's like, whoa, this is crazy. Meanwhile, Iran's firing rockets and like maybe one of them hit something we want to hit.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. Yeah, I was asking though, does anyone else in the world have B2s, or have we kept that to ourselves?
I think we kept.
That's you.
Kept it to ourselves.
You guys alone.
No, I don't. Also, I don't think anybody else can afford the B2 bombers.
Yeah,
they weren't cheap to make when we made them.
But how many 15s and 16s did we give to several nations? Shit, Australia has 35s now. Australia, I think, has 22s and 35s, don't they?
35s, yeah. 22s and 35s.
Yeah, the 35 can take off vertically. That's crazy. Like, you don't even need an aircraft carrier. You could have like a regular Navy vessel, like a cruiser or a frigate, and launch these things off of it.
It can't land on a cruiser or a frigate. It's got to be an amphibious. It's got to have some kind of flight deck for it to land on and take.
There was a helicopter on my cruiser.
Yeah, of course, but the F-35 is bigger than a helicopter.
So I'm just saying, the fantail of a cruiser is plenty big to land one jet on it.
Okay.
Now, there was an issue with these things melting the non-skid off the flight decks of ships, though, taking off vertically. I wonder if they fixed that problem.
All right, guys, I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later.
Hey, mate.
Thanks for hanging out.
Later, man. Good night. Good morning over there.
All right, let's speaking to our foreign member here. We're gonna move right into immigration from that, because Guapo came here illegally, I believe.
No, he didn't.
I thought he did.
No.
I thought he said he came here illegally and got his citizenship when he joined the service. No, granted, he was a child when he came over.
I think he froze.
Yeah. And he's probably listening to me going, "You motherfuckers!" All right. Okay, I saw this story a little bit ago about this illegal alien from Venezuela who was going to high school when he was like 25 or something here in the States. And I was like, well, that's pretty messed up anyway. Maybe you do need high school education coming from Venezuela because they have, well, they're socialists. Their education system must suck, right?
Yeah.
And then this guy has guns. So he's being charged with all sorts of crimes now, not just crossing the border illegally. Now he's an illegal immigrant in possession of a firearm. I think they got like 6 or 7 charges to bringing this guy up on. Like, no, this is just absolutely unacceptable. And what's funny is I keep hearing a lot of these folks say that these rights apply to everyone. It's like, yeah, you say that, but these illegal immigrants are not allowed to own a firearm. I think even legal immigrants are not allowed to own firearms, but I'm not sure. I think you have to be an actual citizen, like naturalized citizen, to own a firearm in the United States and not have a felony on your record.
Right.
Which the only reason why I would ever support a background check was to find out if you have a felony. Besides that, I don't think the government gets any kind of say in anything. And even that, I'm not sure if I like. But you can't trust criminals to be honest and not go buy guns because they're criminals, right?
Right.
The was it temporary protective status
Yep.
of Haitians.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with this decision. I know what Trump's trying to do, but Haiti is probably still not a safe country to go back to.
We don't have to deport them to Haiti though.
Okay.
Well, it's two topics down from here under not stories, topics under legal. Supreme Court said go ahead and use a third country as a deportation site. And we could send these guys to southern Sudan in a war zone, remember?
Yeah.
But yeah, 500,000 Haitians that have moved to the United States because Haiti is a shithole country.
Yes.
500,000 of these folks may get deported now. And I know you say don't send them back to Haiti. Oh my God. The problem is these folks should have requested asylum
Right.
instead of just moving to the United States and flying under the radar.
They didn't. They were brought in by the Biden administration. They came in under TPS.
See, that's the problem. When you use the word temporary or deferred, that means it's not forever.
Right. But they weren't explained that when they got here. I'm sure they just thought they were coming and they were going to be automatically granted
citizenship
resident status and not citizenship per se, but close to it type deal.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, I understand the idea of trying to help these people, but how much vetting went into who you brought into this country?
Probably
how many people live in Haiti? You know what I mean? I mean, it's not going to be 100 million people. It's half of a small island, right?
Right.
So 500,000 people, God knows. Like, did we bring barbecue over?
Maybe not barbecue, because barbecue's in power in Haiti. He's like the de facto president of Haiti.
Which is crazy, because we were talking about Haiti last week, weren't we?
I know. Oh. And then DPS
Trump
is gone
listens to our
this
show,
week.
doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he does.
I think he might, because we say something and then things happen.
Yep.
Crazy shit. I don't know. It looks like Brian might be trying to find out how many citizens there are in Haiti, but I'm not sure.
I can look that up real quick.
Oh, so it looked like you were clicking away trying to figure it out. But yeah. But yeah, as I mentioned last week, or Tuesday actually, I'm going on a pleasure cruise next July.
You're not going to Haiti.
Yeah, well, one of the port visits is Haiti, and we're not
got to be
go
the
to Haiti.
DR.
I'm hoping. I'd love to see the Dominican Republic, dude. Like, those people know enough to keep Haiti the fuck away, right? And it's funny because I mentioned it to my brother and sister who are going on the cruise with me. My brother's like, well, they don't stamp passports if you come from a seafaring vessel. I was like, yeah, I get that. So you can just go anyway.
He is currently facing a severe humanitarian, political, and security crisis. This crisis is categorized by gang violence, political instability, economic decline, humanitarian crisis, security concerns.
So what's the population?
I'm working on it. AI was not helpful.
I thought you were just going to go to Google and ask, population of Haiti, but we all got our different ways to get to information, right?
Everything's AI now.
Yeah,
the current population is approximately 11,901,707 as of June 2025.
Wow, they did what, a full-on census?
I don't know.
this
AI
month.
told me this.
But they came down to a single digit number of how
I
many
know they
citizens there
did.
are.
Yes, they did. It's estimated to be around 11.9 to 12 million people. So yeah, I don't know. AI is pretty good. Damn it. And the
Yeah.
projected population for 2050 will be 14,710,862.
We need to airdrop those guys some condoms.
There's approximately 432 people per kilometer, which
You
equals to I got the mile marker thing here. 1,119 people per mile.
Well, that's not bad, actually.
That's a lot of people per mile.
Yes, for an entire country, but like you look at New York City or Boston, that's actually not that bad, you know.
Okay.
But I thought it was funny you said kilometer instead of kilometer.
Well, I'm drunk. I'm drinking.
I know, and it makes me laugh because it's always like an applausometer or a laughometer. I'm like, no, it's an odometer, a thermometer, a kilometer, not an o-meter, but it's you know. All right. Yeah, okay. Did you hear the mayor of Nashville fucking doxed a whole bunch of ICE agents?
Yes, and he says he's doing it again.
Oh my
And
God.
meanwhile, people are complaining that the ICE agents are all wearing masks now.
Yeah.
Because you're freaking giving away their identities, and you know, and you're telling people to go kill these people. And why are you allowed to wear a damn dust mask or a surgical mask out in public, but these guys aren't allowed to do the same thing?
Because
You know?
I'm afraid of COVID.
Yeah. I don't see a lot of masks around here in West Virginia. There is one lady in my church who wears one all the time. Okay, she's an older woman. Maybe she has immune
Right.
issues, or maybe she's just terrified of COVID. I don't know.
What color is she?
Everyone in my church is white.
Okay. I see typically the people I see in masks around here are African American.
We don't have a whole lot of black folk out here in West Virginia. There are some, especially in the cities. But we're not finding a bunch of them in the mountains, you know, in Appalachia.
I don't know why not.
I don't know. It was just funny because you don't find a lot of black folk dealing with anything that's to do with any form of water. Like you don't see them, typically speaking, swimming or skiing or snowboarding. Now, there's, you know, you will here and there, obviously. I mean, shit, one of our best star swimmers on the Vela Gulf was a black dude, but he was cut out of freaking granite, too. The dude was shredded. I'm like, dude, how do you not just sink to the bottom of the ocean as soon as you get in the water? But yeah, I've been skiing, probably 300 times. And I don't think I've ever seen a black dude on the mountain skiing, you know? Just this is not something you see. But they don't mind the cold, typically speaking, because I mean, you go up to like Detroit up in Michigan.
Yeah.
Cold as shit up there, isn't it?
Yep.
These folks got no problem. But you know, the American is not the American, the human being's pretty adaptable in general. You know? It is funny going to Florida though and watching people with the big heavy burqa jackets with the fur hood on.
In Florida, and it's 60 degrees outside.
No, it's like 90 degrees, and they're wearing this like fur jacket. I'm like, oh my God. It's like I can't even breathe, you know. I've only been to Florida once, but it blew my mind seeing people wearing these jackets. I'm like, you're insane, dude. Like, do you not have AC in your house? If it's not warm enough when it's 90 degrees out for you, do you have the heat on in the summer? You know?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They probably don't even have heat in their houses in Florida.
Well, it gets down to freezing in parts of Florida, because I know this because back when there used to be oranges in Florida before that weird disease came through and killed the crop, they used to spray down the trees with water right before a freeze. Because the ice would protect it from the cold. Yeah. Which I thought was crazy. It's like, this seems counterintuitive, but you know. Anyway, the vice mayor in Los Angeles, it says Los Angeles area vice mayor, which I don't understand. Isn't this the city mayors usually?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, she called for the quote cholos to defend their turf against ICE.
Oh boy.
And I was like, am I allowed to call people cholos?
No.
Okay, but she's allowed to.
Maybe she's a cholo.
Well, her city is overrun with gang violence, and she's telling the gang members to fight against
Right.
ICE.
Makes total
These
sense.
these dudes don't want to get into a fight with law enforcement. Are you kidding me? And by the way, speaking of, why don't you go arrest the gang members
They're not doing anything wrong.
instead of raising them as an army to fight against federal law enforcement? That's crazy to me.
Why don't you get these officials made of breaking the laws by inciting violence against federal officers?
That's what I said. I was like, you should march in there. And that's the problem. I thought Trump was different than your typical Republican, but apparently not when it comes to this shit. They're releasing these folks that are obstructing ICE and all this other stuff. Dude, no, slam them hard as you can with the law because they're going to do it to you. They've done it to you. And this is the big reason why I just don't want to be affiliated with the Republican Party is because they have no fucking balls. There's only so many times I'm going to let you punch me in the fucking mouth. Well, according to Jesus, 7 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turn the cheek 7 times, I believe is what the New Testament says. And I know that's supposed to be
7 times 7.
7 times 7. Okay, 49. And I know 7 is used and 40 is used as a number to say a bunch or enough times. It's not necessarily supposed to be literal.
Yeah.
But there's only so many times I'm going to let you punch me in the mouth before I punch you back. And it's just, I don't understand. Shit, they put Trump's advisors, they put his lawyers in prison. They tried to put Trump in prison to destroy his name so he couldn't be president of the United States again. And yeah, shit. Padilla should have at least been charged and not just released when he stormed in to a DHS meeting. You know,
Yep.
because you know, if you and me did that shit, we'd be in jail.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, Kilmar.
Sorry, I was going to say that press conference. You had to be like identified. You had to give your credentials beforehand to get in that, didn't you?
I don't know, honestly.
I heard that everyone there was credentialed, like they got a pass to get in.
Well, that makes sense.
He stormed to go in there.
Yeah, exactly. He just ran
because he
through.
was but he was trying to like.
He's trying to get arrested.
Yeah, he wanted to create a scene so his name would get out there. You know, nobody'd ever heard of him before this.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're trying. Not Padilla, McIver. But I mean, generally, we're just letting these people go. I'm like, no, man, you let these folks go. You're setting a precedent to tell everyone they can do the same thing. And here's the thing: is you're up in front of a judge because you did the same thing as a citizen, just a Joe Blow.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, this guy did it, and everyone knows who he is, and the entire world wants you let him go. Why aren't you going to let me go?
Exactly.
Yep.
And
It's
boom,
like
right there we have precedent saying, no, we let you go. It's okay to do this stuff.
Yeah, it's like that other guy tried to bring bloody impeachment on Trump. Where is he now? 15 minutes of flame's up.
You talking about Al Green?
No, the other guy, the Indian dude.
Oh, yeah, he disappeared because his own party was like, you're fucking stupid. Don't do it. It doesn't work.
15 minutes went pretty quick.
Yeah, he was like 5'3". He's like, I'm going to impeach the president of the United States.
He held a rally on the steps, remember? No one turned up.
Yeah, no one, because they've tried to impeach, they've impeached him twice already, and it went nowhere. The Democrats realize this isn't going to work, especially when the Republicans have a majority of the Congress.
In both House and Senate.
Well, I'm saying it won't even make it through the House into the Senate.
2/3 in the Senate, so
it's just give up, guys. You just look desperate, you know. Kilmar's back in the news.
Yep.
I guess he's gonna sit in jail until they figure out what to do concerning deportation.
Yeah, because bail was denied.
Yes. And looks like they're gonna deport him to a third country. I
Well,
guess
I thought he was getting. I thought he was being tried as a human trafficker, so he's gonna have to
Oh
go to
no,
court and stuff.
they dropped the charges because they're like, it's not worth having a trial. We'll just kick him out of the country.
Okay,
And I
but they
agree
brought
with
him
that.
back for his day in court. I thought.
They brought him back because they said we don't like the due process you gave him for deportation.
Oh, so
And
now we do. Okay.
yeah, and the Supreme Court apparently doesn't understand the due process for illegal immigration does not require a jury trial. It really doesn't. Just like you don't get a jury trial for a speeding ticket if you decide to fight the ticket.
No, you go before a judge.
So yeah, you stand in front of a judge, you plead your case, and the judge says, "Well, that's stupid."
Yep.
You know, heads up to anyone out there fighting a speeding ticket or wants to fight a speeding ticket. Ask when the last time that particular radar gun was calibrated. Because apparently police departments are terrible at keeping their their radar guns up to date with calibration. Now, it may still be accurate, but if it's not calibrated, there's no way to prove it was.
Yep. Right.
Just heads up. Not saying it's going to work every time because it's entirely possible it was calibrated yesterday. But that's probably your best bet because you're not going to be able to say he's a dickhead and he goes, "Well, here's the printout from the radar gun," you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, here's hoping after this giant mess, the Democrats drugged the entire country through concerning Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
He's hoping they send him somewhere like Southern Sudan in the middle of a war zone. He's like, well, you could have gone and been in a nice, comfortable prison in El Salvador where where you were safe.
Uh-huh.
You know, because you're a gang member in El Salvador and they know that. Which, by the way, is why he's not allowed to be sent back to El Salvador because the rival gang there will kill him.
Okay.
But he's not a gang member.
No, not at all. Gangs like killing everybody.
Yeah. No, gangs like to make money. That's what a gang is. If you go and kill your customers, you're probably not going to make any money.
Nope.
And typically speaking, they're selling drugs or weapons.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, people hear gang and they assume it means, oh, they just go around killing people. No.
No, that's not what gangs do. Gangs are usually dealing drugs.
It's bad. It's bad organized crime.
Bad for
it's a crappy
business.
mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you kill your customers, you have no one to sell shit to, right?
Right, exactly.
And then every other customer's like, well, I'm going to stop buying from these guys because they kill you. All right. So we have this, Purple Heart recipient, American veteran of the United States military, who's just self-deported from the United States after 49 years in the country. He's 55 years old. You know, Purple Heart means wounded in action. Right, I'm getting whatever, doesn't matter. Oh, look at that. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, mate.
There we go. Yeah, my computer froze up for a second there. I was like, uh-oh.
No, you're going all right.
Anyway, he's self-deported. Yeah. He's self-deported out of here, you know, pointing at Trump. And it's like, he said he was forced to. And by the way, he's got a green card, so he didn't have to leave the country. So, like, I don't understand why this article came up and became a big deal. I saw it everywhere too. I didn't bother sharing it, but Brian wanted to talk about this, so I, obviously I'm going to address it.
Well, I mean, but I guess they came to him and said that if you don't leave, we're going to deport you. It was really weird. It didn't make any sense to me either.
He's got a green card.
I know.
And, I mean, I don't know how.
Normally, if you serve in the military, you get your citizenship. So,
not necessarily. That's usually something that's agreed upon in advance. I know we do it with a lot of Chinese nationals. If you come here and serve in the service, we'll give you citizenship. Because after serving, we don't, and typically it has to be like 10 years. I served with 2 different Chinese dudes that
Well,
were
back
getting
in
their
the day when we
citizenship.
had a base in the Philippines, that's how a lot of Filipinos got their citizenship, you know?
Yeah, you'd sign up, serve 10 years, and typically speaking, after 10 years of fighting for a nation, you're not going to turn around and sell them out to your home
Right.
country. You're like, yeah, you know what? Things are better here. I'll stay, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So California has been having real budget issues, right? And Newsom tried to blame Trump for the budget issues going on in California and not their
No,
own.
he gave illegal immigrants access to health care in the state.
Well,
Yep.
they closed their $12 billion budget deficit by cutting back the health care benefits for illegal immigrants.
They just gave them like a couple of years ago.
Again, how furious would you be as a citizen that's paying health insurance, paying co-pays, paying for your medication, and watching someone walk across the border into California and get it all handed to them by the government?
Exactly.
Like, that's my tax money
Uh-huh.
that's being handed to this guy for something that you're making me pay for.
Yep.
And I know that probably close to a third, maybe half of Americans have their health insurance through their business.
Yeah.
It used to be a lot more, but people aren't taking real jobs anymore. They want to work at fucking Burger Hut.
No, they wanted to be Uber drivers or DoorDash people or Instacart people.
Yeah, which is a terrible idea in California because California put the squash on.
They got rid of all those.
They did?
I mean, they made them employees. They got rid of the independent
gig economy.
contractor designation.
Yeah. Because yeah, if you hire someone 3 times to do something, you have to employ them. And it's like, what are you talking about? I just want someone to come in and like work on my computer to fix a bug or whatever, or upgrade it. But now I have to put them on a fucking payroll when I'm just some schmuck doing a podcast out of California. That just
Well,
such
we're
a
not
terrible.
doing the podcast out of California.
Yeah, well, we're not doing anything out of California. I've been there once. I don't think I'll ever go back
I
unless
was stationed there twice.
Oof, oof. Did you keep an address different than your Navy address, or were you paying California taxes?
I was paying California taxes for a while. I had
Oof.
apartment in Chula Vista and San Diego.
That's fine. You could do that. Just keep you have to keep an actual place to live somewhere else. But like when I signed up, I kept my Massachusetts address for the longest time.
Well, I was still a freaking Michigan resident the whole time I was in the Navy, but
So
you know,
Michigan was taxing you too?
no, they're tax free for military.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it was when I got a place, I had to start paying taxes in the places and stuff.
I kept my Massachusetts address for too long. And then one year I got hit with a bill saying I owed $7 in taxes to Massachusetts. And I
Oh
was like,
no.
no. I was like, no. I was like, I was being cool paying MA taxes when I was living in Virginia on a ship, or in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm done. I'm officially changing my address. Bullshit.
Florida.
Especially Massachusetts. That's exactly what I did, actually. I claimed the wife's family's property.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is insane how much tax you're charging me anyway. It was
Right.
almost as much as federal.
Yeah.
And then like, no, you owe us more. I was like, no, I don't. I never paid that $7, even when I moved back to Massachusetts and actually started working again. I was like, no, I'm not giving you this money. I gave you way too much. I should have just told you guys to fuck off when I rolled out the first time, Oof, we're getting there on time, dude. I thought we weren't gonna make it. I thought we weren't gonna make time.
I was shocked too because we just did a show like 3 days ago. So
I thought we weren't gonna make time, and it looks like we're gonna have to cut short here. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll just keep drinking and talking because we've done 3-hour shows before, right?
Yeah.
So the Republicans in the Senate, they do not like this big, beautiful bill Trump is putting forward because they just don't like how much more spending it is. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's tough because when you're trying to get these stupid big bills through, you got to make compromises. So,
Yeah. I thought when it goes to the Senate, that's where they just nitpick and take this out and take that out, but you get your main parts of your bill through.
That's what they're trying to do.
I don't think this was the way this bill should have went through. I think it should have been
Itemized.
multiple smaller bills.
Yep.
You know, it would have been easier to digest in the House and in the Senate, but you know, somebody in their brilliance came up with this great, stupid. This is like an omnibus bill, you
It
know,
is an
where
omnibus.
it's all
Yeah.
shoved in there, you know, and you know, like it or don't like it, you know.
Well, yeah, and then the
I don't agree with this way of doing government work, you know.
no, I'd like to see an itemized issues. Like we'll vote on one issue. Are we going to fund this or not? Okay, it goes in a pile. Here comes the next one. But that's just not how we're doing it.
No.
And it's been driving me nuts for the longest time. But I will say, they're complaining about all this increased spending. Yes and no. We just cut how much money out of the budget?
Yeah.
Well,
That was a year over
how much did we actually cut? Because
hundreds of billions. Didn't hit a trillion, and they predicted 2 trillion, which they blew
I'll
that
believe it
real
when
good,
I
huh?
actually see it. I mean, just because they say it's happening doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. I don't
Oh,
trust the federal
USAID
government.
got wrecked.
They're still there. They weren't shut down.
Yeah, all but shut down. And here's the funny thing is, Elon Musk just got on board with Warren Buffett's idea how to balance the budget
Uh-huh.
overnight. And here's the problem with this idea: it's been brought up over and over and over and over again, but no one in the Congress will vote for it
No, hell
because it says if the budget is not balanced, then
because they're
every no, way better than that. Then every person in Congress, every single member is up for re-election next voting cycle, no matter what.
never gonna happen.
No, there's no way they're gonna vote for it. These guys decide how much they get paid,
Right.
and no wonder why they keep getting pay raises. But the freaking
I mean, they won't even vote for term limits, so
yeah, I don't know where I stand on term limits, honestly.
I'd rather see that than some of these other cockamamie ideas they're coming up with.
Yeah, but if someone's doing a good job, wouldn't you want to keep them in office? But then you get what's going on with Nancy Pelosi and her constituents have no idea. Yeah, her constituents have no idea what they're voting for. They have no idea what her policies are. They just know she's been there forever. By the way,
she brings the bacon home.
If you were like 85 years old, would you want to keep being a senator? Like, would you want to be on
she's not even a senator. She's House of Representatives.
Yeah. But like, wouldn't you want to be on the beach with your toes in the sand?
Yeah, I would.
No, when you keep that
drinking a margarita.
I heard today that Clarence Thomas just turned 76. I will not be surprised if he retires in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
Trump
will be another.
While Trump is president, any Republican that wants judge that wants to get out, I think now's the time to do it.
Yep. Trump get a replacement for him.
We've seen what happened when people drag it out, you know, like
they die.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, Trump got 3 picks last term.
Yep.
Jeez, that's crazy, huh? Oh. Now I will point out. Oh, God.
No, some of his picks weren't as great. They didn't turn out as great as we thought they would. No, that's the problem. That's the problem when you're, picking judges. You can only look at what they've done in the past. You don't know what they're going to do when they got the power of the Supreme Court behind them.
That's exactly right. I think the biggest thing that you can do right now, mate, is like with him. I think he's got to go. Once you get to a certain age, you can't stick around. Like they've got to. I don't understand. Like
enjoy the rest of your life. Enjoy
right.
You don't have that much longer to live. You've already lived the best parts of your life.
That's right.
You're
made
going to
your
get
money.
paid for the rest of your life. Supreme Court people, even if they step down, they're still getting paid.
100%. That's what I was trying to say. You just, there should be a limit, an age limit.
There should be.
It's like when we turn certain age here in Australia, I don't know what it's like in America, we've got to hand our licenses in, our driver's license in.
No, you can.
Nope.
Nope, not here. You can. You got to go back in more frequently to get retested to make
Depends
sure
on
you're
what
still
state.
competent enough to drive. But
That's
it's
state
not.
by state.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. You don't have to automatically turn your license in. My
Well,
dad
we
is
have got to-
81 years old and he's still tooling all around Michigan.
Arizona, their license is good for 75 years.
Well, that's
Before you have to get it renewed. You don't even have to take a test necessarily. That's insane.
yeah.
Well, we got to do a test every couple of years. Once you hit a certain age, and once you hit another age, you got to your license goes in.
No, everywhere
No.
I've ever lived has been you have to renew it every so many years, but that's realistically just a fee
Yeah.
they pay. And most states I've been in, every other time you renew it, you have to get a new picture taken.
Yep.
Uh,
We can go for
and-
5 years with ours at a time.
Yeah, I know Massachusetts is every 5 years for a license renewal, and it was every other time you had to get a new photograph taken.
Yeah.
But you don't have to take a test, driver's
Yeah.
test again until you screw up.
Right.
Or lose
like-
your license to DUI or something like that.
Well, that's what I mean by
Exactly.
screw
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Like you get your license taken away because you were drunk driving. You have to go. You might have to go take a test instead of just, you know what I mean, suspension.
Yeah, we've got pretty similar laws to that here too.
And I like the idea of at a certain age you have to come in and show us you can drive again. Because I got a dude who lives 2 houses over. He's got to be
You
at least
can't drive.
147 years old, right? Well, here's the thing: is it's a 55-mile-an-hour road that big honking trucks hauling trees from the lumber farm and
Uh-huh.
coal from the mines come hauling down at 55 miles an hour, and he drives down this road at 20 miles an hour.
Okay.
And you're like, dude, you're gonna get killed, and you're gonna kill whoever's stuck behind you
Yeah.
on these windy roads, because they can't just pass you. You know,
Mhm.
No,
that truck can't stop.
no, trucks work on momentum, mate. That's how they work.
Yeah, inertia's a thing, right?
Yeah, it sure is.
I believe that's a dynamic inertia. An object in motion will remain in motion until acted upon by an outside force, especially down a mountainside.
Yeah, you're that's why they got the runaway lanes most of the time when you're coming down a mountain.
Yes, and well, there's not many of those around here because the roads are carved out of a mountain anyway. But you hear these guys on their engine brakes, trying to
So
slow
loud.
down. Oh, it's so loud, it's obnoxious. They come into a corner going 50 miles an hour that the truck can't handle at faster than 30. And it's so loud and obnoxious. Luckily, they stop driving at 5 p.m. They do not drive on weekends, at least for
Nice.
work. Yeah.
Some
So-
parts you can't use your engine brakes. Some parts where you're driving through towns and that.
Well, in a town, the towns are all like 30 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour anyway. Because again, we're in the middle of nowhere. It's not like you hit the city. Like if you're in Charleston, you might be going 50 miles an hour on the expressway, you know? But driving through the middle of nowhere in the mountains, there's not enough population for people to actually complain and get something done. But the actual
Okay.
towns that, like in the holler, as we call it, the valleys where everybody
Yep.
sets up their houses, the speed limit is so low. I mean, you got kids playing and all that stuff, you know. You don't need a truck coming through at 50 miles an hour when people are walking across the street and
No.
you know, talking to people.
Nope.
I've got to go, lads. It's been a bloody pleasure.
All
Oh,
right.
it's always fun to have you on.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate it, mate. I like coming on. These Saturdays are better.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Well, that's all, Jeffrey.
it's all me. I don't like when I do the show. I don't tend to go to bed right after. I stay up and drink for several hours.
It was
made it real
affecting his church going abilities.
It was making it tough to go to church, and then And then not just going to church, but like, who wants a hangover at church?
I was able. I guess I'm a better alcoholic than you are because I was
Yeah, I don't
able to
get.
go to church no problem.
They call that functional alcoholism, mate.
Well, here's the thing: is I stay up all night anyway, especially if I'm drinking.
Okay.
I'll be up till 5 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not
And
doing that. I'm
yeah,
old. I'm too old.
and when I go to church, it's my mass starts at 11.
No, my church starts at 11 too.
Yeah, when I was in Massachusetts, mass started at 6:40
in the morning.
So yeah. But repeat offender. I got a buddy who wants to come on the show. He lives in Texas.
Yeah.
And I think having you on at the same time might be fun, but I don't know how many people we can get into one show without it getting out of control.
Okay, mate. Yeah, that'd be good.
We might have to wait for a week that Guapo is working instead of having the kids to do that. I don't know.
Oh, just tell them not to do the show 1 week. That's no biggie.
Go out and get drunk, buddy. Go find some split tail.
Exactly.
Go split tail hunting, bud.
He'll take a Friday night off. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
No worries, Briggs. Take care.
Thanks for coming by, bro.
You're right,
It was
mate.
fun to have you.
Pleasure.
So Trump has ended trade negotiations with Canada.
Yep. Because of because of something they're trying to put in place.
Some digital service tax, basically like electronic technology, like social media, for example. There's better examples than this. Even like home security, they were taxing like digital property or digital services, like home security or Facebook, Twitter, whatever yeah.
And they've responded back.
Yeah. Yeah. They said, oh, well, we're going to keep negotiating. It's like, with who? Sorry.
They think they still have the power.
What do we buy from Canada? For real, what do we buy from Canada? Have you ever bought anything that's had made in Canada stamped on it that you can think of?
Canadian whiskey.
Right. I will give you that. No, I do love me Crown Royal and VO.
Canadian. I didn't know Crown Royal was Canadian.
It's a Canadian whiskey, at least. I don't know if it's necessarily made in Canada, but that's the blend of different whiskeys. I think it's Canadian. Crown Royal, VO, and Seagram 7 are all the same company. So I think they're all Canadian.
All right.
Have you ever had a VO and ginger?
No.
Oh, first of all, VO means very old.
Okay.
That's what it means. It's aged at least 7 years in a barrel before it's taken out of the barrel. It's a very good whiskey that costs far less than a Crown Royal.
Okay.
Now, if you're poor and want a similar taste, you get yourself a 7 and 7. Seagram 7 is aged up to 7 years, and you put it 7 up instead of ginger ale. Not nearly as delicious, but it's going to cost you like $1 less at a bar.
Nice.
You're right. I didn't even think of that. Whiskey. I do like their whiskeys. I mean, they got maple syrup, but we got plenty of maple trees here in the United States. I mean, Vermont maple syrup is famous around the world, isn't it?
Yep. There is.
You know, Canada, and don't get me wrong, any Canucks listening to this show, I love you guys. You guys should seriously come here the legal way and become citizens, because Trump's not actually going to annex Canada and make it a state.
Hell no. This is it's all talk. It's,
Yeah, but
he's trying to stir the pot, and piss people off,
and
which is what he's been doing all his life.
But Canada actually has a strategic. Okay, we have a strategic oil reserve.
Yeah, what they got? It's a maple syrup reserve.
Yes. Yes, I'm not kidding you. They really do.
For what?
I don't know. Why do we have a fucking mountain full of cheese?
We do?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Hundreds of tons of cheese from when we were doing the government cheese program. And because we were subsidizing dairy, right?
Give people the cheese.
That's But the problem is if you give people the cheese, you put all the dairy farmers out of business because they can't sell cheese anymore. So we were handing out government cheese, but we're still subsidizing dairy. So they just took all this cheese and put it in a giant bunker in a mountain.
Well, that's
And I got a
stupid.
feeling it's the same thing that's happening with Canada with their maple syrup reserve. Because I genuinely don't think that they're worried if the end of the world happens that they're going to run out of maple syrup. I think there's other things to worry about before that, you know?
Yeah.
I gotta say, it is hilarious that you guessed that first try. Did you know?
I grew up on government cheese.
No, I meant the syrup thing.
Oh yeah,
I,
yeah.
I can't believe
I
you
love
got that.
my syrup.
I do
still
too,
have I still have not bought a Pearl Milling Company bottle of syrup since they got rid of Aunt Jemima.
Well, yeah, Aunt Jemima lost her job. Um, I wish I could think of more
I
of them.
think I've read somewhere where they're talking about bringing her back because
Well, Aunt
sales are
Jemima
down
was a
that
real
much.
person.
I know she was. There's a
Like,
family that was getting royalties on that syrup. They're not getting anymore because it's not their name anymore.
well, that's the thing is these people get so outraged. They don't know what they're talking about. And they took all of these Black Americans off as icons of like trademark labels. But
Yeah.
Mr. Clean and Wendy and the Burger King and Ronald McDonald are still around. It's like, so wait a minute, you got rid of the black people. The Land
Yep.
O'Lakes. Land O'Lakes, they got rid of the Indian and kept the land.
I don't buy that cheese. I don't buy that butter anymore either.
No, I just buy the sticks. I like sticks of butter myself, not the
Well,
spread
that
of
was
garbage.
sticks of butter. Land O'Lakes was a stick of butter.
Oh, they did do sticks? I knew they did the spreadable. I didn't know they did the
Yeah.
sticks.
No, they had the sticks, yeah.
Ah, crazy. It's like all you did was just you whitewashed the
Yep.
market in the
Yep.
name of in the name of not whitewashing stuff.
Exactly. You
Yeah,
alienated, part of your customer base that was buying your shit. Stupid.
Now,
Stupid.
I won't buy any of that fake maple syrup anyway. The sugar water, the wife loves it. She hates real maple syrup.
I buy Mr. Butterworth now.
God, why don't you buy some real syrup, dude?
Too expensive.
Speaking of my father's coming down from Vermont with my brother, who's in Vermont. I might ask him to bring me some
pumpkin beer.
No, I'm gonna ask him to bring me some real maple syrup, like pure Vermont maple syrup. Have you ever had the real stuff?
Yeah.
All right, it's not watery, right? If you don't heat it up, it takes like a minute to pour it out.
Yeah.
So good. Anyway, as we were mentioning a while ago on this show, I keep hearing everyone talk about how the economy is garbage, right? Meanwhile, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ have both hit record highs, even though we told Canada we're done negotiating trade. And again, what are we buying from Canada? Like you said, maybe whiskey, maybe some maple syrup.
Yeah.
They got 100% tariff on our dairy coming in to Canada.
Yep. We talked about that in the previous show. It's ridiculous, but that's one of the reasons why Trump started these tariffs. Other countries had these things in place for years, and now everybody's freaking out that he's trying to retaliate and create a more level trading field.
Not even necessarily retaliate, but by putting these tariffs on, a temporary tariff, he brought these folks to the table to renegotiate all these trade deals.
Yeah.
And
as the true businessman he is.
And it worked with most countries. Like for real. We signed a deal with almost every country making more even trading. China said no. He doubled the tariff. Canada's being a thorn in the side over this, and I don't know why.
New prime minister.
Yeah, but how is this helping
trying to make a name
people?
for himself? Trying to make.
But how is this helping your citizens, dude? Like,
it's not. They don't care about that. He doesn't care about that. He's trying to make a name for himself.
All right, so now we're not going to buy your goods, but you're going to continue to buy our goods. That's awesome for the freaking economy of Canada, right?
Nope. But
no, it's not.
Politicians do not care about that. See, it's crazy.
I love the Canadian people.
Oh yeah.
Some some of the nicest and most polite people on the planet.
Unless they're in Montreal.
Yes, because then they think they're better because they speak
They're
French.
not Canadian.
And I know I call them Canucks, not Quebecers. The Quebecers, man, if you don't speak French, they'll lie to your face about like where the nearest grocery store is. It's like, why? Like, why? I will say though, one thing Canada does export that the United States absolutely needs is comedy. Oh my goodness, they have some of the funniest people. I just wish they would drop their politics. Like Seth Green is a funny dude, but he's a douchebag. And I wish I could think of more off the top of my head, but they have so many funny guys that came to the United States because they were going to make more money doing their comedy shit in movies and everything here. And you know what? Letterkenny was one of the funniest TV shows I ever saw. Sure as he's not quite as good, but did you watch Letterkenny?
A little bit. I
Oh, it's
wasn't
hilarious.
yeah, it is.
How you doing? Good, and you?
Good. I mean, it
Uh,
got old towards the end, you know. I mean, it just
the Canadians got funny people.
yeah, they
I
do.
mean, how many? That's the biggest export, I honestly think. Or
Okay.
at least that I consume is these comedians and these actors and actresses that come out of
But
Canada.
Canadians got those weird UK laws in place where you can get sued for saying shit, and even in your act now. So
What if they come to the United States and do it? Is it still something they can prosecute? Okay,
no,
okay. Because I mentioned Seth Green.
yeah,
I was like, I've enjoyed so many of his movies, but like then he opens his mouth about politics. I'm like, dude, I don't care
no,
about your opinion. I want to hear you
exactly.
tell jokes, right?
Yep, exactly.
If I want to hear a political conference, I'd go to a political conference, just like Disturbed. David Draymond from Disturbed does his concerts with his rock band, his new metal band, and he stops to start talking about like Trump. It's like, dude, I
Uh-huh.
don't give a shit about what your opinion of Trump is. I didn't spend this much money on a ticket to hear your political opinion. I could have got that on YouTube.
Right.
I came here to hear you play Down with the Sickness or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or
Definitely.
Hurt, their cover of Hurt.
I mean,
Vote.
that's why Billy Joel has lost a lot of fans, you know, along the way, you know, because it's all political now.
I didn't realize that. Dude, I remember, geez, my mother died 5 years ago, so it's probably closer to 8, 9 years ago. My parents went to a Billy Joel concert in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
They got cheap seats and paid over $500 a ticket.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's insane. Could you imagine paying $500 to watch a
No.
dude play, to watch a girl play, a dude play Uptown Girl?
No.
And, or was it, me and Julio down by the schoolyard? I don't know. You're a Billy Joel fan, right?
Yeah.
We didn't start the fire.
Yeah. That's one of my
Cecilia,
favorite songs. Yeah.
Celia,
You're
you're
breaking my
heart.
heart.
But yeah, if I'm going to pay that money, I want to hear the music that I
not
love.
the politics, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but even Dropkick Murphys are going that way, you know.
You know what?
And I love my Dropkick Murphys. I just saw them in concert last year here in Norfolk. It was
Are they still making
fantastic.
records?
Yeah, they're still making records. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, every once in a while, well, they don't do it on stage, the politics, like a lot of these groups are. But if you follow their Facebook, their social media, it's all over social media, you know.
I've noticed that. Yeah, they used to do a free show in Boston on the Common every St. Patty's Day.
They still do it. It's live stream now.
From what I understand, they don't do it on the Common for free anymore.
Okay,
Maybe,
but it's
I
still
thought
live streamed. You can.
But I mean, I used to actually go up into town. I'd hop on the red line, take the T up into town. That's what we call it, the city.
Yeah.
And we'd go out on the Boston Common, smoke joints because check this out. BPD, Boston Police Department, has no authority on the Boston Common. It's park rangers.
And they don't care?
There was like one guy who controls the entire common. They just, you know what I mean? Like, and he didn't care enough to go hunting down guys smoking weed.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd smoke a couple bones, watch the drop kicks, you know, and shipping up to Boston and you know all that.
Go get in the mosh pit.
Yeah, and just enjoy the show. And then they'd be playing a song that's not your favorite, so you step off the common. And I don't know if people realize that the Boston Common is not huge. Way smaller than Central Park in New York.
Okay.
You'd walk out, go across the street, hit Cheers, right? Have 3 or 4 pints, go back and watch the rest of the show.
Okay.
Oh, it was so much fun, dude. But Boston's not as much fun as it used to be, you know? It's just
no.
They're too busy saying how everybody sucks and they're better than you.
Yeah. So you see where this Wall Street economist who ripped Trump admits the president may have outsmarted us all on tariffs?
Well, yeah, he came out and was like, "You're going to destroy the economy," you know, and people are still saying he did, but all the numbers say otherwise. And this guy's like, "No, man, like you pulled the wool over my eyes. I thought I was going to wreck shit, but now like the cost of everything has gone down." And you can say gas went up, but it does every summer because people go on vacation, right?
Yeah, that's not. It went up some, but it's also it's fluctuating, you know, so.
Well, it's up less than it has been in what 4 or 5 years. It was one of the top. Yeah.
Yep.
But he's like, yeah, like this did not do what I thought it would. It did exactly what Trump thought it would do. He understands this shit better than your average person. That's why he's worth billions of dollars.
Right. Yeah, that's why he's you know, exactly.
And I was nervous about a billionaire being president, honestly.
Well, I always told you and we talked about it on the show previously, you know, it's like
you're running like a business.
He's a businessman trying to run the government as business. It failed miserably in the first term, but he did make some changes, and I think he learned some shit from the first term.
Oh, and the 4 years when he wasn't reelected gave him a lot of time to think about it and how to restructure his ideas.
Yeah.
But a big problem he had in his first term was he trusted too many people to be honest.
Too many people that have been in the government for their whole lives, you know?
Like Bolton.
Rhinos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, rhinos. Every time I hear that term, I go straight to Lindsey Graham.
Well, he's a rhino. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Here's the thing: I'm probably more Republican than Lindsey Graham. He wears the title, and I refuse
to. You probably are.
It's funny. I sent Claire a message on Facebook the other day, which last like 6 messages I sent Claire. I haven't heard anything back, so I'm wondering how that friendship's going. But I was like,
I haven't heard back from her in a while either.
I was like, these Democrats are getting so out of control. I'm genuinely considering registering Republican and just giving up this idea of I can vote for whoever the hell I want, whenever I want, you know? Because the Dems are out of control, and any of them that make any sense at all are being excoriated by their own team. I mean, look at Shapiro. Some Democrats tried to burn his house down when his family was asleep in it. Sheesh, this is crazy. You can say this Minnesota assassin was a Republican if you want, because some Papa John's pizza delivery guy said so.
No.
The guy worked for Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, Democrat. He blamed Tim Walz why he killed these Democrats. Because they weren't left wing enough. Like, this is crazy.
Sure is.
I don't know, man. Like, Bill Clinton today would be considered far right wing.
Oh, yeah.
His time in office. Shit, Obama would. Obama was the deporter in chief.
Yep.
You know, this point in Obama's second term, where Trump is in his second term, Obama had already deported twice as many people as Trump has.
And also Obama was a big fan of dropping bombs everywhere without the War Powers Act. Everybody freaked out when Trump did it, and
which is which is funny
Obama did it a
because
whole lot more.
yeah, and well, Trump's first term when he was it Syria he bombed. That was when the left wing media came out. I was like, oh, he's finally starting to look presidential. I'm like, killing people.
Yeah.
All right. You want to get into this legal stuff, or you just want to call it and save it? Well, I'm cool with talking about it. I mean, maybe even just some of it concerning these Supreme Court decisions. But
I think we should definitely cover a couple of Supreme Court decisions because it was Supreme Court Day today.
all right. Well, Supreme Court came out and basically smacked down these national injunctions. Like, why does a district court judge have more authority than the president of the United States?
Exactly.
And this, maybe the Supreme Court's listening to us too, but I will say at least those people are very, very educated, whether or not I agree with their views. But yeah, no, a district judge cannot just tell the president, no, you can't do this.
Right.
And they brought up something we brought up on the show was a judge can only make a ruling based on who's in their courtroom.
Right.
If you want to affect a mass group of people, you need a what do they call it there? Class action.
Yeah.
Case. So one judge can't be like, no, you can't do that anymore. And it's like, you can only say it doesn't apply to this particular thing. Like Tennessee brought a lawsuit. You can only make a ruling on Tennessee, not the entire fucking country.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what SCOTUS came out and said. And I was like, awesome. Why wasn't this brought up under any of these other presidents where these national injunctions were happening? And I'll tell you why. Because there's only one or two at a time under an entire president's time in office.
Right.
Trump has had more injunctions against him.
Especially in this second term.
Yes, in this second term alone, he's had more injunctions against him than the entire 20th century. So all of the 1900s, Trump has had more in a couple months. What, 5 months?
Insane.
Yeah. Finally, SCOTUS had to be like, you can't do this. No, that's just completely unconstitutional. You do not have this authority. And it's funny because the dissenting opinion, and I can't remember her name. She's the one I never ever remember. Keith Kagan.
Okay.
She wrote the dissenting opinion about how this is stupid and wrong, and et cetera, et cetera. She was the one who, under Obama, tried to stop these from happening. So clearly, it's political and not what's the law, right? Sheesh. All right. Now, Trump came out about this colossal abuse of power that the judges were using concerning these national injunctions. And he's like, all right, now maybe we can finally get something done.
No.
Because realistically, he has 18 months after taking office to get as much done as he can before all of these congressmen and senators start campaigning for re-election.
Yeah, I just found out that one of the people I work with in the insurance industry that lives in Denver, Colorado, they're actually leaving the country and moving to Denmark because of Trump.
Do they have citizenship in Denmark?
No.
You should mention this guy. He's going to get deported.
But I'm thinking, Trump's only got he's only got 3 years left. You can't put up with this shit for 3 years. Whatever.
Well, this is something we've talked about before, though, is these nations are deporting American citizens because, you can't just come here and live in our country. And Denmark, in particular, being as close to socialist as everyone wants to say they are, they're not going to let you just live off of their system.
No.
You haven't been paying into it. You have nothing to do with it. You can't just come here and say, I want to be a socialist or a communist or whatever word you want to use.
Right.
And you should point that out to him. It's like, hey, you're going to get deported, right? And then when you come back with your tail between your legs, you're going to feel like the biggest dumbass. And then you go, oh, every other country is doing it too. We were the only ones who weren't? Oh, yeah. Maybe I'm not better than everyone else.
Yeah.
And Supreme Court came out concerning these LGBTQ like story hours and the books in schools. It said parents are allowed to opt out of this, and they cited, check this out, they cited religious freedom, which I
Good.
thought was, yeah, well, whatever way you found to do it, I'm cool with it. But I read, who is it? Like, whatever. Oh, there we go. The dissent on this one said something about how, ooh, is it Kagan again? Oh no, Sotomayor. She said it's going to incite chaos because now, the budget for schools is stretched so thin. Now parents have to figure out who's going to go through this curriculum and who's not. Like, how old is this person, this woman, right? 'Cause I don't know
Pretty
about
old.
you. When I went through school and we did sex education,
Mm-hmm.
my parents had to sign a consent form. That the teacher didn't have to call my mom.
Right.
I had to go home with a piece of paper. My parents had to sign off on it. Then I had to bring it back to school, or I wasn't allowed to sit in the class. Do the same thing. It's not like a ton of work. It's a fucking photocopy.
Right.
But for some reason, it's different now, and I don't understand. Shit, these days you can actually email parents. That's how we get most of our paperwork from schools, through email.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The parent goes,
Exactly.
"Oh, click yes or no." And here's the best part: is you don't even have to click no. Just don't respond, and it's a no automatically because we didn't get consent. Shit.
Exactly. Too easy.
Especially with the consent laws that keep coming out. And now these folks are saying that no, school doesn't need consent. Like, maybe I don't want you teaching my kids about the way you like to have sex.
Right.
Being gay, what? Go ahead. Suck as many dicks as you want, dude. I don't care. Don't sit my kid down and tell him how much you like to suck a dick,
Right.
or how to do it. That's not
That's your
sex ed.
that's something
kink.
you do at home.
Yeah, that's kink, not sex ed. Sex ed is human reproduction. Like, I don't know about you, but we never talked about butt sex or oral sex or foot jobs or any of this weird shit.
No, of course not.
No, here's how babies are made.
Yep.
And here's your body is changing. Here's what's happening.
Yep.
And they want to cram this stuff. Pardon the pun. They want to cram this big dick down your kid's throat and not have to not get your permission to do it.
You know where they got screwed up in this whole process? COVID.
That's because the kids were being schooled online, right?
Yeah, and parents were able to watch online and see what kind of shit was being taught them.
This is what you're teaching my children? And you know what, parents? I'm a little disappointed in you that you were that little invested in what was being taught to your kids, that you didn't know until it was literally right in front of your face. Because you can go and find this stuff. You can get the curriculum from the school.
Yeah.
And these parents know it. School has been babysitting and not education for parents for way too long.
Yep.
Oh my God. Sorry, I asked 1,000 questions
Okay.
when I enrolled my daughter in preschool. Like, what are you going to teach my kids any of this, or what are you, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
That was when I found out this. That's when I found out West Virginia actually has a law against talking about all this stuff in school. It's not the schools, it's not the government's place to teach you kink. And you can say it's not kink, it's sex. No, sex is reproduction. All this other anything besides sperm meets egg isn't sex. That's
right.
I'm just trying to get off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. If you want to freaking wear a gimp suit with a ball gag in your mouth and have a woman in high heels stomp your fucking nuts, I don't care. Don't teach my kids this is freaking normal shit,
Yeah.
Oh, pardon my rant, but you've opened the door and it's run out of control. Rant. You're right, actually. It's not a good show without a rant, huh? But they just they open the door, and then the Republicans always going like, "Well, it's going to lead to this." And the Democrats like, "No, you're out of your mind. That'll never happen." Just like when the Republicans said, "When you legalize gay marriage, it's going to lead to our kids being taught to have butt sex with each other in school." Like you're crazy. That'll never happen. And now they're pissed off that we're saying you can't do that in school. It's already happened.
Yep.
And remember, Trump was the first president to come in office pro same-sex marriage before he became president of the United States. Every other president was against it. Hillary Clinton even ran on marriage between one man and one woman.
Yep.
Clinton was the don't ask, don't tell president, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
But you hate the Republicans for their policy on this stuff. It's like, no, again, it's if you want to do this in the privacy of your own bedroom, I don't care. And granted, I'm not your typical Republican.
Nope.
But
But even most Republicans don't care.
No, I got a feeling most Republicans in office are gay themselves.
Mark Rubio.
Well, one thing I do want to bring up that was not on topic, but I read a report probably 5 days before the bombing in Iran about how it's called the pizza something or whatever, not Pizzagate, something like that. But like, well, no, the pizza shops and like fast food takeout orders in DC had like quintupled in like 5 days, and I immediately thought it was
That's
like,
usually a sign of attack.
That exactly, because these guys are up all night working. Brian's taking off as we're winding up the show. Yeah, that they were working all night trying to figure out a battle plan. So they were staying at work and eating takeout like pizza or Chinese or burgers or whatever. And I was like, wow, if it's that easy to predict an attack coming from the United States, maybe we need to figure something out. Maybe even just create a budget just to throw money at these places every now and then so you never know what's actually happening. Because if all I got to do is follow the local Papa John's and wait for their takeout to skyrocket, geez Louise, that's you're giving away the plan, All right. Oh, here we go. Former FBI director, the guy who was in right before Patel, Christopher Wray, I believe is his name, right?
Yeah, he retired. Trump actually nominated him for that position, and he realized that Trump was probably going to fire his ass, so he retired.
Yeah, that's fine. I kind of like Kash Patel in this position. A lot of people talk a lot of trash about Kash Patel because he's not getting enough done quick enough.
It's the federal government. It don't work that way,
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who's ever worked with the federal government, to include enlisted personnel and officers, you put in a request paperwork for a new hammer. Not only does it take 3 months for the hammer to show up, but it costs $900. Anyway, Christopher Wray's been referred over to the DOJ for career prosecution about this alleged voter fraud. In particular, the Chinese Chinese nation that was creating fake IDs, American driver's licenses, so that Chinese folks could send in mail-in ballots. And Ray knew about this. It's in the paperwork. He just ignored it.
Biden didn't pardon him?
Well, he did not get a preemptive pardon. It's entirely possible Biden never heard about this because this guy just swept it aside.
Okay. I think the preemptive pardons are in trouble with the auto pen situation. So
I think preemptive pardons are in trouble anyway. How can you be pardoned for something you haven't been accused of?
Exactly.
That's not even saying I think you were wrongly imprisoned for something that you didn't do. It's saying I know you did this. I don't want you to go to prison for it.
Right.
And not only did Fauci get a preemptive pardon, he got a pardon that went into the future.
Yeah. No, Hunter Biden got one too.
Yeah.
That went into the past.
it wasn't like 6 years in the future, but it was like a day and a half or something silly.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. All right. The judge who blocked Trump with the National Guard over in California is
Yep.
facing impeachment, and I'm not quite sure why. Honestly, like I understand the basic idea of you can't. The president has the authority, but this judge could have said it's not an emergency at this point. The president doesn't have authority. Of all the judges you're going to kick out of office or attempt to kick out of office, this is the person you pick. You know, instead of the ones that are on trial right now for helping illegal migrants escape.
Well, I mean, this is a Republican out of Louisiana that's put in the articles of impeachment on the guy.
Okay. Okay, you're right. You're right. It doesn't
He's
necessarily
trying
have
to
to
he's
be.
trying to hold the federal judges accountable. So
Okay, that makes more sense when you put it that way.
but like we talked
I,
earlier, even for federal judges compared to presidents, it's still a tall road to get it done.
yeah, and this doesn't mean that Trump filed these articles himself.
No.
Like you said, Louisiana, just like Al Green can file articles of impeachment, and his own party
Exactly.
would be like, "You're fucking stupid."
Yep.
So we'll see where it goes. I doubt this person's going to lose their bench,
It's not going anywhere.
but nothing else is being done. So maybe this is something we have to do to bring light to it. Problem is when you lose, you just look like a fool. You know?
Republicans are used to that.
The Republicans are very used to that because they never follow through. They'll arrest someone for something and then just let them go. Which, don't get me wrong, like the Democrats let a lot of people go that are obviously guilty of crimes that a week later get hauled in for murder.
Yep.
But if the Democrats are going to do this to the Republicans, they should do it back. And
exactly.
this, like I said, this is my biggest problem with the Republicans. They don't have
and the Republicans
spines.
always thought they were better than that. So, but they're not.
No, they're not. And if you're gonna fight by the rules, right? A street fight by the code of honor, and they're eye gouging you and kicking you in the balls, you're gonna lose the fight. Like you have to fight as dirty as the people fighting against you. And also why I refuse to be a libertarian. I dabbled in it for a little while. I was like, no, these guys are stupid. They're too busy fighting each other over who's more of a libertarian than the other guy to do anything, Some of these guys are saying we shouldn't have national defense. Like, you're out of your damn mind. You know how many people want to come here and just take over because there's so much wealth in this country? If we didn't have anything to stop them, somebody would.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. This guy used to be a Venezuelan intelligence chief, I guess. Let's see. Here we go. Let me find his name. Hugo Carvajal, known as El Pollo, which I don't know how much Spanish you speak, Brian, but that's the chicken.
Yep.
So who wants a retired military
Pollo
officer?
de Loco.
I'm sorry. Is that a real place? Is that a real place?
No.
Okay, so it was only in
Yes.
Oh my God, what was the name of that show?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Great show. Everyone should check it out. But this guy was a retired military officer, former congressman, and former head of intelligence for the Chavista regime. He's now pled guilty to 4 charges of drug trafficking and narco terrorism in a federal court in the United States. I don't think this guy needed to do all this stuff to make money. I mean, maybe he wants to be the wealthiest guy in the world, but why is this guy smuggling drugs and using drugs as a weapon in the United States unless he's trying to take down the United States?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, And again, anyone who has comments, is there a comment box on our audio only version of the show? Is there a way to like make comments about the show? I don't know.
If they go
I've
to
never-
Podbean.
If they go to Podbean. So if they do it on Spotify, it's not necessarily going to get back to Podbean.
It might.
I don't know.
I
I just know
don't
if you download it on any of these other platforms, it shows up on the Podbean report, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Oh. Okay, so one of these USAID guys pled guilty on a bribery scandal. This is probably why the Democrats.
USAID, your favorite government agency.
Yeah, this is why the Democrats are probably trying to protect it from Doge so much.
Yep.
Because it's entirely possible that they knew this guy was taking bribes basically to hand out American dollars to garbage, as we pointed out several times. But this guy's stole his influence started in 2013 with at least this dude named Walter Barnes. He's a contractor. The owner of Vistant, I'm not sure what they are, and Daryl Britt, he owns a Prio. I don't know who that is. Oh, Walter Barnes owns Vistant. Don't know what these guys do, but they funneled their payoffs through this dude, Paul Young, a subcontractor, to try to hide their tracks. Roderick Watson is the guy who pled guilty of bribery of a public official. Here we go. Then Watson is also listed as bribes. Okay. This guy took more than $1 million as bribes, but here's the thing: is his contracts are one contract in 23 was $800 million.
What?
Paid out false $800 million, 0.8 billion. You're saying, oh, these cuts aren't going to get shit done, you know. These are 20 million to drop in the bucket. First of all, fuck you, 20 million to drop in the bucket. That $20 million that got paid to watch a shrimp run on a treadmill could have fed how many Americans?
What about when they're trying to change the people, the mice and the transgender?
Yeah, transing mice, Sesame Street in Iraq. How many Americans could this have fed? Or shit, what about just a giant stimulus check? You know, like, here's a bunch of money we didn't spend. You guys go out and have fun, which would boom the American dollar, you know? But no, you guys can't be doing this. Turns out we were sending this money off with actual bribes. So now, the SBA, what the hell is the SBA?
Small Business Administration.
Yeah, there you go. Small Business Administration has taken, is looking for fraud. And they're doing an audit of all government contracts in the last 10 years. So, oh shit, who's about to go to prison?
Nobody.
And I don't know, man. I got a feeling you start proving that these things were completely fabricated and people made up programs that didn't exist and just paid someone off to approve it, because no one checked this shit. Something Lee talks about. No one's reading over this stuff and checking up on it. They just go ahead and approve it, and the government's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's another $50 million. Who cares? Again, how many Americans would that feed? How many homes would that give homes to?
Yep.
Or how much less money would we owe so our dollar would be worth more? Inflation would be lower if people weren't putting this shit in their pocket. Well, no one seems to care. And it blows my mind listening to these fools saying this, like, oh, well, what's $20 million? Jesus Christ. $20 million is enough money for someone to kill somebody.
Yeah.
But, all right. Brian, I think that's our show.
All right.
Let's pinch this turd off and see if we can't get anyone else to share it out for everyone else.
All right.